Well, good evening, everybody, and I hope everybody's ready and having a happy spooky season, Halloween season. I don't know if any of you use Discord, but if not, you should just for the fucking ringtones. Oh my gosh, like when you ring out, scary as shit. But anyway, I'm already old man yapping here. Let me stop being such a rude fucker and introduce my guest. So this is Andre Segers. He is a founder of GameXplain. And he's been doing this YouTube thing for about as long as I've been watching YouTube. So I'm very excited to have him on. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself and pretend like they don't know where you are, where they can find you. Just give them the rundown. And most importantly, what the fuck are you drinking tonight?
Oh my goodness, I am so bad. I forgot to grab a drink, except for this 1 9/10 empty Diet Coke I have. I can run to the fridge and get something real quick. But
if you need to, it might be good as long as some of these fucking go.
All right, I mean, I have to do justice to the title of this podcast, right? Maybe I should introduce myself real quick. Yeah. I'll grab my drink and then you can keep talking while I hopefully get my drink real quick.
I'm good at that.
Yeah, real quick. I'm Andre from GameXplain. I think as already said, I've been on YouTube for what basically feels like forever at this point. I just celebrated my 15th anniversary earlier this year, which is crazy to me. Yeah, I know. Which is like I almost said half my life. It actually isn't anywhere close to half my life. It feels like it though. I guess more than half my adult life. There we go. And we cover video games over there with a heavy focus on Nintendo. Or anything else that personally interests me, which often, again, is just Nintendo. And we do, deep dives on games or reviews, previews, some longer editorials on whatever tickles my fancy in that moment. And that's basically it. So, we're primarily on YouTube, also TikTok, and, other social media. So
groovy. All righty. Well, while he runs and grabs a drink, I guess I'll do my introduction. So, my name, everybody calls me Zoo, although I go by many names, such as who the hell does he think he is? I am a digital bartender and an advocate for gaming's growth. I guess we'll go with that for now. And I run this little bar here. We have a Discord server as well. And you can find me with my new venture at Switch After Dark. And of course, everybody knows where to find me here on the Flipping the Switch channel. At least I hope you do. If not, it's a scavenger hunt. YouTube is a gigantic library of babble. So, go hunt. You might, even if you don't find me, you might find something else you love, and that's pretty cool too. So, I broke out some good whiskey tonight. I am drinking the Yamazaki 18 years, so Japanese whiskey, one of the finest from Suntory Distilleries.
So I said I wanted to do justice to this podcast, and I'm afraid I failed in that mission because the only drinks I have right now are Miller High Life. So this is what I'm working with.
Miller's as good as anything else, man. Anything that gets you feeling good, right?
It gets the job done. Exactly. That's what really matters, right?
So, all righty. So I guess my first question is because this is kind of a fun moment for me. I first started watching you guys. I remember the first video I ever saw by GameXplain, and it was a new Super Mario Brothers Wii. I had just gotten back into gaming hot and heavy, in part because of the Wii. And it was the guide for New Super Mario Brothers Wii. It was the star guides. Some of those stars were a pain in the ass, but
yeah, you're telling me. I think when I was doing it, I don't think there was any guides I was able to consult either. So I had to deal with that pain in the ass myself, try and find where everything was.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's amazing. That's a long time. That was a long time ago, as you were saying.
Long time ago. And so keep in mind, I had sat out pretty much the entire GameCube era. So I was kind of back in the swing of things for the first time. But I guess that would be like, you're one of the early adopters of YouTube. What got you started saying, you know what? I think I want to try this out and kind of share my passion with the world. What got you started on that journey?
Yeah, so I guess I always had the drive to do something of my own. Like even when I was a kid, like I remember, I forget maybe it was EGM or GamePro. First off, I always loved those gaming magazines. I've always loved gaming, all those gaming magazines. And I remember one of them had a section within it that was like, I think that, it was called Zines, right? And they would highlight, it was Zine zines, other magazines, like fan-made magazines that people would make themselves and publish to their small audience. This is like, well before the internet really became a thing. So that I always remembered liking that. I always envisioned like having my own magazine and what it would be about. Now, I never got around to making my own magazine, but I did get around to making my own website eventually. Thanks to a little pamphlet in GamePro, they had this whole like little pamphlet on how to make your own website, like totally random thing. So I used that as a starting block to start building an online presence. Getting my thoughts and ideas out there. My initial website was on AngelFire, one of those free to host websites. It's still around to this day. If you go to angelfire.com/SD/code network, you can see my first website. It's a piece of crap, I'm sure, but I've got codes on there, tricks, some reviews, and all that. So I always had this drive to do my own thing. But at the same time, I also needed a job and money. And so I kind of put, those dreams partially by the wayside, even though, actually, I'm kind of skipping ahead a little bit here. Before this, actually, I was making websites. Sorry, I forgot I was even leading there. This beer's already kicking in, apparently. Yeah. So after learning how to make websites, I made another website called, actually, GameXplain. There's a few other steps between that, but I ended up making GameXplain, and we were actually producing videos back in 2002 to 2003. So this is before YouTube was even a thing, before online video was really a thing. Yeah, it didn't really exist. But I was making videos back there, like highly edited video guides, much as you were just talking about New Super Mario Brothers U. Put them on GameXplain, a website that I'm sure got almost no traffic. I don't know what the traffic was. I don't think it got huge in numbers, but it gave me experience. Anyways, I used that to get a job at IGN. I saw, and I was trying to apply to IGN forever. I loved IGN. I love following their content, and I actually was called back at one point, about a year before I was hired, by Fran Mirabella, who worked at IGN. I missed his call. He left a message for me, being like, "Hey, got your application. We'd love to talk." So I call him back, left a message. Never heard back from him again. I'm like, what happened there? Thankfully, though, about a year later, I saw an opening for a guide position. I've been applying for other positions at IGN, but they had an opening for on their guides team. And I'm like, I know how to make guides. I've been doing it in video form. So I submitted an application, included, of course, all the stuff about my website, making videos and all that. Apparently, that did the trick. That got me in at IGN. So I was there for 2 years, left that to go work at GameSpot for another year and a half on their guides team. And then during this entire process, this is when YouTube started becoming a thing, and it started really gaining some prominence. And I knew that both companies, IGN, especially, but also GameSpot, were like making pretty good money off YouTube. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even realize you could make money off YouTube. And so that's when I decided to, it got me thinking about my history of like wanting to run my own thing, my experience with video, and now having like the experience of like working at these big companies. I realized, maybe I have the knowledge and the willpower I need to try out making things on YouTube. And then I quit my job, like basically cold turkey, and I get in 2 weeks notice, of course. Quit my job, no backups, no nothing but like a little bit of savings that I could proceed to completely burn through across the next year and a half, 2 years, to the point that I legit thought I wasn't gonna make it. I'm like, it sounded great when I started, but apparently making money on YouTube's harder than it may seem at first, especially back then. Or I guess you could even say it's even harder now, I suppose. But back then, no one really knew what they were doing. But eventually, I finally got to a point. I don't know if I figured something out or reached a critical mass, maybe some combination of the two, where it was finally starting to become self-sufficient. And luckily, I didn't have to, go bankrupt and find a job or find another job. Ever since then I've stuck with it, and now I just, like I said, celebrate my 50th anniversary, which is wild to me, but I've been doing YouTube longer than anything else I've done in my life. So besides exist.
That is incredible, and it's kind of interesting to hear about that. This is back, like I said, even before YouTube. And so on one hand, I'm sure there wasn't anything. I mean, this is way before Google AdSense, right? So I'm sure on one hand, it's less streamlined as far as making money. But on the other hand, you were also in a blue ocean. There was no red ocean. It was there wasn't like 80 million fucking gaming YouTubers competing.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry.
I can imagine that was kind of a wild time.
It was, yeah. I mean, it had a different set of challenges than YouTubers have these days. No one really knew what was happening then or how to make things work. But as you said, the advantage was it was a blue ocean. There wasn't a whole lot of way in the way of competition. I mean, I will say too, I skipped some of my reason for wanting to do it too, because beyond just wanting to do my own thing, I've always been like a self-driven person, and I kind of always don't like answering to someone else, but I like just doing things my own way. Even if to be fully objective, you're always answering to someone, whether it's your audience or, the people that are supporting you, whatever it is, right? But I always
Forces of
like
the universe,
try to
man. Forces of the universe.
exactly. But while I was at IGN and GameSpot, I thought that, at least at the times I was there, that there seemed to be a gap in their Nintendo coverage, in that they weren't covering Nintendo exactly as I would like as a fan, as a viewer, they weren't covering them quite as I would have liked them to. Now, this is in the era after after Matt Casamassina and Bozon and Ferran were running the Nintendo team.
Sure.
Like, their coverage was amazing.
Okay.
But after that, it just kind of like wasn't hitting the same marks. And at the time, I started working on Nintendo just before the Wii U era, so they were already in a downward trajectory in the tail end of the Wii's lifespan, and I think that's why they're starting to get ignored by the bigger outlets in favor of the shinier, more exciting things happening on Xbox and PlayStation, or whatever, PS3, I guess, and 360 maybe it was at that time. And so I'm like, you know what? This is all coming together. Like, YouTube's becoming a thing. I know it's possible to make money on it. I have a drive. I have a passion for Nintendo, and people aren't covering Nintendo as I think they should, especially in video format. Like, that was still, again, a pretty early thing, though IGN and GameSpot were doing videos as well. But I'm like, I think I could do something else with covering Nintendo. And sure enough, something ended up resonating with people, and to the point I'm still able to do it, luckily, to this day, which I'm very grateful for. Yeah, so sorry, that's the long story.
Oh, no, not at all. It's very interesting, and a lot of the chat's saying that too. And you kind of broached on something that I've suspected for a long time. I know it's the case with, in particular, a lot of Western AAA, but I've often wondered if this doesn't bleed over into the games media as well, and that is the bias against Nintendo at some time. And what I mean by that, in particular, is the fact that if you go back, you can go all the way back to the NES era. And you've got Trip Hawkins at the time. He was the CEO of EA. Did you know that his board of directors literally had to threaten to fire him if he didn't make a game on the NES because he was refusing to do so?
Yeah.
The reason for that is because they didn't like a lot of Nintendo's practices in terms of only allowing 5 games per year, etc. Forgetting the fact that these are the same fuckers that caused the game crash in '83 to begin with the way they handled games. And so I get why that wasn't popular in the industry, but I can't help but think that it probably saved gaming, at least in the West. It certainly did. And then, of course, for bailing the Western gaming industry, console gaming out, they were rewarded, of course, that once the Sega Genesis rolled around, boom, moment EA could. And that also came with some reverse engineering to the Genesis, of course. So never been a very nice group of people, but in general, it just seems like the moment anybody could jump ship, they would. And I can't help but think that at a certain point, that industry bias would bleed into the press. Did you ever see anything like that while you were there? Or did you see it start good, get worse, or is it just an ebb and flow based on pure popularity?
You mean like just in a general sense, or while working at some of those outlets, for example?
Yeah, working at the outlets.
Yeah, it's I'm trying to remember back. I don't want to be fully fair, but like, especially back when I worked then, it was really kind of like a boys' club at least IGN, maybe less so GameSpot, and like with that, they kind of had like that that innate edge that comes with it, like, oh, Nintendo's for babies, like, we should be covering this stuff. Not that there weren't people who felt otherwise, of course. That was kind of like a general vibe there. And also, to be fully transparent, like, the Nintendo team, I think, officially were down in the LA office. So I was whereas I was up in San Francisco. And so the what few Nintendo fans there weren't even in my office. So I was really subjected to the Xbox and PlayStation side of things. I worked at IGN during the era when, Greg Miller just started there. Giant PlayStation fan, of course.
Yeah.
Not that, great guy, obviously.
Sure.
But that was just kind of the general energy then. Like, people didn't really care about Nintendo, at least in my branch of the office of IGN. And that was disappointing. That was unfortunate for me, but I was a huge Nintendo fan, even if there were a few others I gravitated to who were also Nintendo fans, luckily. Some of whom I'm still great friends with to this day, which is awesome. And then, yeah, so I would say that kind of was the outlook. So it's funny that people have, I think, made that observation from the outside. And for me, it seemed like, yeah, that's kind of the case inside as well, inside these companies. Because again, this was, I was working for them. I started at IGN just months before like 2 months before the Wii came out. And after the initial glow of it wore off, like a lot of hardcore gamers didn't consider it to be a valid real system. They wanted their Call of Duties or their Battlefields or whatever people are playing then, Call of Rainbow Six on their, in HD graphics, right? And not their waggle stuff, where you can cut the grass as Link by wiggling your sword around. Yeah.
I'll tell
And
you,
so, yeah,
it's amazing.
yeah, sorry.
It's incredible to me because Iwata saw what was coming, and it's really, really interesting the way the games industry rejected that revolution, that Wii proposition. He told them all. He said, gaming is not really growing. Console gaming is not growing, not naturally. It's just growing, riding macroeconomic trends that are positive right now. So what happens when those macroeconomics go into the negative? Well, gaming will decline. We need to stop focusing on things like graphics and specs and breaking budgets on this HD shit, because when the time comes, if there's an economic downturn, the small group of hardcore gamers, these obsessive freak hardcore gamers, are not going to be able to bankroll these AAA budgets. They're just not going to be able to do it. So our only hope is to grow gaming, grow console gaming as a hobby, get it in more hands. That way, in times of macroeconomic decline, we can enter stability. And in times of macroeconomic growth, we can grow, since that seems to be what's happening. Games industry said, no, not only are we not interested in that, not only are we going to fight you every step of the way on this, but we're going to actually dump all of our shit onto the Wii. And because those dumb, stupid casual gamers will buy our bullshit, and then we'll use that money to fund AAA game development on Xbox and Sony. What happened? Well, turns out that those dumb, stupid casual gamers were a little bit smarter than they gave them credit for, weren't they? They didn't buy their fucking junk. And then all that sweet, sweet casual money went away, leaving them to go bankrupt on the other systems. So, hard lesson. I think, what did we lose? 250 studios back when 2008 happened? It was a huge amount of studios. THQ drawn and quartered. Like, it's a hard lesson. THQ. And they learned it for a little while. They started to expand gaming, started trying to get beyond young adult males. And unfortunately, it seems like we're now going in another direction again.
Yeah, the industry's in a weird place right now where like look at Microsoft. It's just like it's I don't even know if they know what they're doing right now, It's a very confusing time. Lots of layoffs, lots of studios being shuttered or neglected in some cases. And yeah, Microsoft, like it really, like, they're just on a downward spiral of like increasing what's the word I'm looking for? Just like lack of visibility, I suppose, like irrelevancy, like to the point, like I used to be a big Xbox fan. I had an original Xbox. I loved it. It was actually in that era, it might have been my favorite console at the time.
Halo LAN parties were something else.
Yeah. Halo LAN parties was amazing. Like, they were pushing the industry forward in a way that Nintendo wasn't, and I think in hindsight, I probably prefer the GameCube library more now, but at the time, Xbox is where it's at. I love playing Pandora Tomorrow online, Halo 2 online. That stuff was amazing, it was like all brand new to me. And I'm like, man, why can't I play Mario Kart online? This is so lame, and Nintendo was really late to the game in that sense. But on the other hand, as you're talking about with the Wii, they were like ahead of the game. Like, they foresaw that there was going to be like a red ocean and that they needed, I mean, there was one. That's why partially why Nintendo was failing, why every console that they made, from the NES was selling less and less than the previous one. To the point that the GameCube, like, if it weren't for the Wii, like, the Wii, by comparison, the GameCube looks like a huge success compared to the Wii U. But, before that point, the GameCube was the Wii U before the Wii U. Like, it bombed relative to...
let me tell you what it was like as a person who owned a 64, didn't play with it a lot, but I owned a 64. Dad got it. I'll never forget. GoldenEye was fabulous. Perfect Dark was fabulous. Loved those games. Mm-hmm. Loved fucking watching him. I wasn't good enough to do it, but tie up the AT-ATs on Shadows of the Empire, do the jet.
Amazing.
Dude, such a great fucking game.
Still my favorite hot level of any Star Wars game that I played. Yeah.
So good. Shadows of the Empire was great, but I was already kind of feeling a little alienated because where the hell's my 2D Mario? Like, okay, this 3D Mario, it's okay, but where's my 2D Mario? If the N64 was starting to become alien, the GameCube was another fucking planet, bro. It was another planet. What the fuck is this window washing game? What does this have to do with Mario? What the fuck is this boring ass sailing? I wasn't even mad about the art style. I thought the art style looked good. What the fuck is this? Then there was the Air Rider, which I'm still kind of this Bomba Bin fucking What is this shit?
It's a topical one.
What
That's a topical one to bring up.
What the fuck does this have to do with bongos right now? What does this have to do with Donkey Kong Country? And you could go down every fucking list. You go down every fucking game on the GameCube. And I mean, exception of a few, that's what it was. It was
even Wind Waker. Like everyone loves Wind Waker now, but then it looked like they were going from this quasi-realistic Nintendo version of Lord of the Rings essentially to this like cartoonified version of especially in a time when people are already comparing Nintendo as being for children compared to the other consoles. And you have this, this game that's, they're one of Nintendo's most mature series coming out looking like it's a Saturday morning cartoon, right? And everyone just lost it completely, and it speaks to your point. Like the GameCube almost felt like Nintendo. Oh, I don't know how much of it was Nintendo versus the consumer, but like it was Nintendo still figuring out 3D. Like they figured it out to a degree in the 64 era.
Yeah.
But then when they tried, sorry.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, but then they're like kind of changing things up a lot in the GameCube era as they're like trying to solidify what 3D is. But I don't think those franchises were necessarily ready for that level of distinction quite yet. Sunshine was weird, Wind Waker was weird. But even Mario Kart was weird. It's my favorite Mario Kart, but even that was weird at the time. Double Dash, and I'm sure there's other series I could name off in that same way.
Star Fox Adventures.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
You've got this rail shooter, and all of a sudden you're running around your Temu Zelda, running around with a magical staff, and it's just like
right.
So from the perspective, and I'm not trying to say you can't be creative. I want to be very clear. That's not what I'm saying, guys. What I'm saying is that when you have an established IP, there are established expectations that customers have with that IP. So, think of games. I always tell folks, think of video games like you're going to a fucking restaurant. And each game is a meal that's intended to satisfy a certain appetite. And so if I go there and I've ordered steak on every time I go in, okay, so NES Day, I order steak. SNES Day, I order steak. N64, steak. Now I go on GameCube Day, and it's like, oh, we're out of steak, but we do have chicken with marshmallows and tangerine sauce on it. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I mean, it might be good, but that's not what I ordered. And so why my question in that period was always, why can't you just make the damn 2D Mario game and then also make the 3D Mario game with the window washing? Or even better yet, why can't you make the Mario game and then turn that window washing game into a brand new IP that might break out?
Right. See, that's such a good point. I think that kind of gets back to what I was trying to say is, like, to your menu analogy, right? Like, if it's all weird crap we're not used to, there's a good chance we're not going to like it. However, you sometimes have to subject yourself to that weird crap to expand your palate and better appreciate things of that nature, right? And that's why I think the GameCube really holds up pretty well in retrospect, because now that we've seen like the full slate of what these series are, it's like, oh, well, those games seem a little bit less weird in hindsight, and I can better appreciate it more for what it was going for now, right? Yeah. Like, again, Mario Sunshine, as I said, super freaking weird. Like, there are barely any recognizable Mario enemies in it. You're not in the Mushroom Kingdom, and you're using a weird water backpack. Like, outside of the core cast, there's almost nothing identifiably Mario about it. But now you look back, the Piantas don't seem out of place anymore. Everyone loves Aldofino in hindsight, and even Flood kind of works now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to give it a try. Like, I'm on the new venture. I'm gradually going through and reviewing games on the Switch. I got 500.
That's right.
So I am eventually gonna get to the triple pack or whatever it is, the Mario 3D All Stars, and it's kind of gonna be interesting because when I do my Odyssey review, the basic premise is learning to love 3D Mario, and Odyssey finally did it for me.
That's awesome. I honestly, did you try playing Sunshine before Odyssey then?
I actually never played the game. I never played Odyssey's awesome. And also, I really like Galaxy now. Before when
Galaxy's also great.
when I tried Galaxy, it was like, okay, you'd be insane to say this is a bad game, but it's just not what I want. But you got to keep in mind, I hadn't had a 2D Mario game, which was my game, for 18 years on a console, so I was pretty bitter at that time.
That was a long time.
Here it is again. And
it wasn't until. Oh, go ahead, please.
Yeah, and so no. And so now we're getting what? We got Mario Wonder, which was wonderful. We've got New Super Mario Brothers, which I like. You know, again, I gave them a pass with Wii, even though it was the same Desert World, Fire World. It's like, they get a pass. It's been 18 years. Don't do it again, though, guys. And then they did it again. But they made up with it with Wonder, so they have made up for it. So, you know, given that I can't really hold the 3D grudge anymore since I'm getting what I want, and so maybe that makes some of the pain go away too.
You've been satiated now in that way, and now you can open your mind to other experiences.
Exactly. So it's been kind of a really cool journey, but yeah, and I think people are going to be proud of me as far as you said expanding your taste buds and things like that. I'm going to give Air Riders a try, guys. I saw it. I saw the direct today. It looks good, and god damn it, Sakurai's so likable.
He really is. He could sell me like a pile of poop, and I'd be happy about it. You know,
man, that guy could sell anything.
He's just so. I love how candid and open he is, and it makes me a little annoyed with Nintendo that they don't allow their internal developers to ever come across this way. Like, you know, they are very afraid of like putting people out there. It seems. I mean, I know there are a handful of exceptions, but like it's clear, like, you know, they have to do what Sakurai wants. Like, he doesn't work for Nintendo. I mean, he works for Nintendo in the sense they hired him or contracted it out to him, but he's not a Nintendo employee, and he can basically run things however he wants. And it's so nice seeing that. You know, like, I wish I got this level of candor from like Miyamoto or, you know, Aonuma or others. You know, it's so nice seeing someone so like in the trenches of his own game, being able to speak openly about it. It's just really great. And it's just awesome seeing him present it like with so much enthusiasm too. You know, and I'm a big fan of the original Kirby Air Ride, and I'm really excited for the new one. I have some hesitations, but today's direct did help address some of them, and so I'm really excited for the final game and
mode in a racing game.
A story mode, exactly. That's something Mario Kart's never done. You know, why haven't they've had like?
So two questions come to mind. Number one, why can't Sakurai have directed fucking Mario Kart World? Number two,
right?
Number two is I look at a game like Kirby Air Riders, and I tried to hate this fucking game. I did. That game was giving me like secondhand trauma from the GameCube era. I'm sitting there watching this when that first got debuted. I'm like, why? You've got this Switch 2, and although the backlash is being highly pumped up and propped
exaggerated,
there is certainly some legitimate backlash to just the pricing and all this stuff. And then, so you really need some fucking winners. And yeah, Mario Kart's great, but then one of the games you debut is this fucking bargain bin GameCube sequel. Why? And then the more you hear about it, the more you look at it and you go, you know what? This game has a lot of heart, actually. And so I started with my arms crossed, but all frown upside down. I wanted to hate this fucking game, and I couldn't. At the end of it.
Yeah, and what's kind of awesome about it too is like, you know, you said there's a lot of heart in it. Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, heartwarming to think that it's, you know, probably largely because of that Sakurai is Kirby's creator. Like, he's the one who literally made Kirby, and he hasn't made a Kirby game since the original Kirby Air Ride. So this is him like coming full circle.
Yeah.
You know, granted, he's, you know, done stuff with Kirby and Smash Brothers, of course, but, you know, there's only so much he can do there. So it's really nice to see him come back to his original creation and kind of like put this fresh coat of paint on it and expand it in ways that no one ever envisioned. Like, I've been begging for a sequel. I never expected we'd actually ever get it, you know, and here we are. And hopefully it's a success to warrant that. But I'm also a little skeptical, like, will it sell well, especially in a year where Mario Kart World, you know, just came out still, and despite all the negativity, it's still like a very popular game, you know, and a good game. And so it's gonna be interesting to see what happens here with Kirby. I hope it does well, but, you know, it's hard to say.
I just feel like Nintendo's reading again, which is awesome. And what I mean by that is, if you look at somebody like Hideo Kojima, is kind of the one I always like to use. Hideo Kojima, whether you like his games, whether you don't like him, whether you love him, whether you hate him, Kojima's an interesting guy. And you can always
yeah.
tell what he's thinking about and what he's reading by what he's putting in his games. So, good example of this, and I haven't played it, but to my shame, I want to. But there's a game called, I think it's Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker, right? If you play
the PSP game,
if you play Peace Walker, not only are you playing that as a video game, you are learning literally everything you could possibly imagine about the Sandinistas in Costa Rica. It is a history lesson in video game form. That game is packed with actual history codexes and all kinds of other stuff. And so I like it when game developers read. The reason I say that is because game developing it's a hard job. I feel like video games, as much shit as I give their storytelling capacity at times, I feel like video games are literally a culmination, a synthesis of all of the other art types we've ever done into one unified form, interactive entertainment. So it's very hard to make a video game. But when you're working that hard on things and you're working 80, 100-hour work weeks, it's hard to get out there and travel and get on a whaling vessel 3 fucking times like Herman Melville did and do the things it takes to produce interesting stories. One way you can still get that in is to read. And they're absolutely reading. So what are we seeing here? You can't fucking tell me that looking at that Kirby game, the road trip, a fucking road trip, we're sending the motorcycle maintenance. Are we doing the Dharma bombs? We're doing what basically accounts to an all American or Japanese, in this case, road trip. And I think that's fucking awesome. You look at Donkey Kong Bonanza, Journey to the Center of the Earth, right? So they're reading again. And it's
that's a good one.
Their art so much.
Were there giant crocodiles in the Journey to the Center of the Earth? I don't remember if that was.
No, I don't think there was that. My memory's a bit hazy on that too, but it's even fucking cooler.
I have been on the Journey to the Center of the Earth ride at Tokyo Disney, and there is a giant monster under there at least that they have on their ride, and so
that's really cool.
That ride's awesome. Actually, I need to go back. I'm overdue. I haven't been to Japan in a long time.
What ride is that?
Journey to the Center of the Earth. It's actually at Tokyo Disney Sea, which is their second park. It's adjacent to Tokyo Disneyland.
I will definitely have to do that next time I'm in Japan. That's really
I recommend
cool.
It's a cool park.
And
I love, I'm a big theme park fan, along with, like, if I weren't running a channel about video games, it would probably be about theme parks. And so whenever, like, those two interests can come together, like, I love that, such as Super Nintendo World. I never thought that would happen, and hey, I was able to cover both of them, both of the US ones at opening, which is amazing. So,
isn't it interesting how the two hobbies are I feel like they're very synergetic as far as the way they work? Because, with a ride, it's another form of interactive entertainment, much like a video game. You're actually the actor on the stage. It's very controlled. That's actually how I did my Luigi's Mansion review on Switch After Dark. Is I took it was basically like, in a haunted house, you are one of the actors on that stage as you walk through that architectural pacing, and the scares are all happening to you. And so basically, as Luigi, you're embodying that character that's walking through the spook house. So it's very interesting how video games can do that, whether it's a roller coaster, because I've always said the biggest strength of video games is you're the actor on the stage. And that's something that nothing else can do. You can't do it with movies, really, not yet. You can't do it with books. But you can do it with a video game. You're the actor on the stage. You're in that sandbox making decisions.
That's a good point. Like, I love horror movies. I just love something about them. I love not that I love every horror movie I see, but I just like them in general. But the thing is, I've watched so many now. I'm kind of like, I don't get scared by them anymore, so that kind of detracts from it a bit. But you could put me in front of a scary game, like, that still gets me. That still freaks me out. Like, I couldn't handle. I was playing Resident Evil 7 in VR. Couldn't do it. I couldn't get far into it at all. Alien Isolation, same thing there. I mean, even Resident Evil. People say Resident Evil 4 is not scary. That game scares the crap out of me still. I don't know what people are talking about. That game still gets me. And I've played it a bunch. That
game's a masterpiece. That's one of the few games on my sister's GameCube. I actually butted in enough to beat that to interrupt her Animal Crossing plays. That game's so good. Have you played World of Horror on the Switch yet?
No, I haven't. Okay. Wait, I don't think I've even heard of it.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. This is one of the perks of having 500 Switch cards. I'm going to have to get you a list of some great horror games on the Switch that you might not have heard of. World of Horror. Are you a Junji Ito fan?
Sorry, what fan?
A Junji Ito fan?
I don't even know what that is.
Oh, we're gonna talk. So Junji Ito is a horror maestro from Japan.
Okay, wow.
He explores some of the scary, some of the issues of Japanese society through the medium of horror. And so,
Mm.
for example, he explored the Japanese suicide rate amongst workers. There's a thing he did called the hanging balloons. Check this fucking crazy shit out for a premise. Basically, there's these balloons that are showing up with nooses attached to them that look just like you. The balloon looks like your head. And this grotesque balloon will come and it will do everything it can to lure you out of the house and hang and kill you. And every person in Tokyo has a balloon that looks just like them. If you pop it or shoot it, you die too. Your head deflates. And so there's nothing you can do except basically be hung to death by these balloons.
That sucks.
It's a horrifying premise. But anyway, it takes his horror and I'll have to send you some screens of this. Some of this guy that his entire thing is the page turn. So basically, you're reading it, and then he uses this in manga form to such a masterful degree. Like you'll be like sitting there reading, okay, this is good, okay, and then you turn the page, oh fuck that! It's that kind of thing, like genuinely good. Well, anyway, this game is like if Lovecraft and Junji Ito had a baby and made like a board game that's in video game form. So there's always an eldritch god. And every turn you take leads you closer to the doom counter. And then there's all these random encounters, like there might be a guy selling noodles, quote unquote noodles, in a stall. And you can choose to eat the noodles or not eat the noodles. Do not eat the noodles. But stuff like that happens. But yeah, it's a really immersive, crazy horror game. It's all done in like 1 bit too. It's really crazy. Dude drew the entire game in Microsoft Paint. Fucking masterful work of art.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah. So there's some really, really cool. So okay, I gotta break down Junji Ito World of Horror. But it's good to see another fellow horror aficionado. What horror movies you been watching lately? Any good ones?
Yeah, hold on, I gotta remember the names. I saw, God, what was it? I saw one a few months ago. I don't want to say too much about the story, but I don't want to give it out. Give it away. Okay, let me see. I'll mention another one. That one's really good though. If I remember, I'll tell you the name. But I saw, last year I saw Sing 2, which I thought was a huge step up from the first. No, not Sing. What's that one called? Not Sing 2. That's an Illumination movie. Smile. Thank you. Smile 2. Thought that was great. I saw. God, I'm trying to rack my brain now for all these horror. I've watched so many recently. I can't even keep them all straight. I just watched Alien again recently. I watched Alien Earth, the show based on it. Though I didn't like that in particular. It wasn't very scary either. I don't think it was meant to be, but that was disappointing.
Right.
Trying to remember what else I've watched recently.
Alien classic. Alien 1 is such a classic.
Alien 1 is so good. I like Aliens as well, but since I like horror, I especially like Alien 1.
I love that the cat lives through the whole thing, and also love the fact that they were able to get some worker solidarity type stuff in there too. So like you've got this future, and they're worried about their bonus pay, and of course you got the corporation being nefarious, and very, very human, very cool story.
Oh, here's one that I saw. I can't believe I forgot this. Weapons. I loved Weapons. I thought it was fantastic.
I still haven't seen Weapons. My sister wanted me over to watch it.
I won't say anything. Highly recommend it. Thought it was really good, and yeah, and that same guy, the same director, I forget his name. He's also making the upcoming Resident Evil film. So that has me even more interested now in that.
Wow, all of a sudden I'm interested in a Resident Evil thing outside of games.
Exactly. It apparently has no bearing or nothing to do with the previous Resident Evil films, thankfully. It's something of its own creation. So
you mean the Project Ego for his wife?
Is that it? Or...
Yeah, no, dude, the director, Paul Anderson, his wife is Mila Jovovich. That's why she's
I forgot.
Yeah,
I totally forgot about that.
To be the coolest
person in
the room.
That kind of makes sense why it sucked now, even more so.
That's what Resident Evil became, yeah.
Yep, sad.
Yeah, any way we can avoid that. Then there was that fucking clusterfuck of a Netflix show.
Oh, I didn't even bother with it. I didn't even try it.
Yeah.
The thing is, I rarely watch horror shows just because maybe it's my own bias. I feel like a show's not going to scare me. Like I feel like they just can't do it. Maybe it's also the setting I'm watching at home, and I don't find that as scary as like being in the theater. But I mean, even then, I don't know. I've never seen like a scary show. Maybe I'm not watching the right shows, but
Yeah, I gotta watch. We're gonna be watching The Shining tomorrow night. That's another classic that we watched.
Oh, that's a great one. I'm a huge Stanley Kubrick fan, and
Me too.
I rewatched Shining a few years ago, and I was actually on a huge Kubrick kick a few years ago, where every movie I'd seen of his, I adored for the most part. I'm like, there's a lot of films of his I hadn't seen, so I was on a huge Kubrick kick for a while, like watching as many as I could, and unfortunately I fell off before I finished his entire filmography. But yeah, Shining's amazing. Shining's just a really
Dude, that dude's a visionary, and in particular, did you
He
know that
is.
Stephen King hated that fucking movie?
I did. I know he still hates it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, he
Too bad.
literally. There's a quote. I can't source this. I've tried. It's on IMDb. It's attributed to Stephen King, but he said that Stanley Kubrick set out to make a movie to hurt people. And I sat there and thought to
Wow.
myself, it's like, well, he's right. He's absolutely right, and that's why.
Yep.
But he's absolutely wrong in the fact that there's merit to that. That's high
Yeah.
art, man.
That's true.
But it never like I saw that movie first. I was 7 years old, and I was actually at
Wow.
yeah, I was at a friend's house, and that movie was on in the screen, and I had to go home that night.
Yeah, I would think that would traumatize me as a kid. I saw a movie like called The Witches. Was it The Witches in theaters where she turns like some kids into rats? It was a live action movie, and that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that traumatized me as a kid. Like I don't know how old I was, but I saw it in theaters, and I just remember like I could not sleep for like weeks after that. Even like when I was a kid, there were even Disney rides that went on, like Haunted Mansion or Tower of Terror, that kept me up afterward as a
Haunted
youngster.
Mansion
So
is so good. I try to go to that at least
it's a great
2-3 years. Haunted Mansion's so good. My favorite story about that, I've actually got it in the Luigi's Mansion 3 review, is about how literally they made that ride just a few years after they lost Walt Disney.
That's right. Yeah,
one of the rides that they used in order to try to. So that was one of the first things that they developed without that visionary lead they had, and they knocked it out of the ballpark. They stepped up and they knocked it out of the ballpark. It's such a good ride to this day. The holographics and it's so good.
Yeah, like that simple effect is they call it's a Pepper's Ghost effect. It's so effective. Like it's been around for like over 100 years, and it's still remarkably effective. And it's all because like the staging, the theming, how they do it. Like it shows you don't need the latest technology to make an amazing experience. That ride is old as hell now, and it still holds up amazing. It's just it's a classic.
It's just using visual tricks. It's things we've known our entire life. We've got one that's similar. It's nowhere near on the level of the Haunted Mansion, but we've got one if you're ever in Illinois, central Illinois, go to historic Petersburg, Terror on the Square.
Terror on the Square. All right, I'll check it out.
Square is so good. It's a mental institution is what they say it was. And they've got some of the holographics and kind of tricks like that too. But
that's cool. Is it like a spook house type thing, or is it a ride?
House. It's running right now. Okay. We're absolutely going to go. We got a couple of good ones here. We've also got one that's a haunted hayrack ride here in Springfield that you can go on, and they load you in like an actual like hayrack that's horse driven, and then you got like the headless horseman that comes up and swinging a sword at you and stuff. Very very cool through Riverside Park. Incredible ride. And
that sounds awesome.
If you're a super danger seeker, I don't know if I would recommend this. Up in the Chicago area, there's one you have to sign a waiver. It's a horror experience. So it's not a haunted house. They tell you, hey, be at a parking garage at a certain time. That's all they tell you after you've signed your waiver. And my buddy went on this. And so they black bag this guy.
Did he come back?
They black bag him and throw him in the trunk of a car and speed off. So next thing you know, he's being thrown in a hole and he's being buried alive.
That sounds terrible. Like that doesn't sound fun. That's torture.
No, that's horrible. But in the end, they help you out and say, "Oh yeah, how'd you like it?" Like, because they don't tell you what's going to happen. So for all you know, it's like maybe this is the haunted house ride. Maybe I'm literally just been kidnapped. You don't know.
Kidnapped. Yeah, maybe I'm just going to die.
Yes,
yeah.
So I'm less of a fan of that. But I am a fan of the controlled horror experience. I've always been fascinated by that in terms of, the fear response in humans, because it's kept us alive for a long time, first of all. When you're in the woods, you hear a noise and, hey, maybe it's just a wind, but it could be something else. So you immediately kind of heighten up. And haunted houses do that in a controlled way. They allow you to have that fear response, but in a controlled environment where nothing's going to happen to you.
Right. Yeah, and that kind of gets back to like, also like Luigi's Mansion, it's kind of like designed similarly. I mean, almost like the spook house, as you were saying. And it's interesting though, because obviously none of the Luigi Mansion games are like really scary. Like
No.
they're obviously made for children. But there is still something about the first one in particular. I forget, have you played the first one too?
I played a little bit of the first one. So again, my sister had the GameCube, and so that was an Animal Crossing machine. And you couldn't get her off. Right. You could not get her off of it. And we had the GameCube. No. We got it for Animal Crossing.
Game was crack back then. I mean, still is for a lot of people.
I did like it because it had the original NES games on the actual.
Yes, game, was cool. It was the original Virtual Console.
But I played enough of it to know that it's definitely the scariest one. If you can, for what you can say about that. And it's tragic because I was really hoping it would join 2 and 3 and get a physical, and of course not. Of course not.
Nope, it's sad. But yeah, I mean, even Upper Nimbus in the chat was saying what you were saying. The first Luigi's Mansion is still the best and most creepiest. Yeah. That's exactly it. Like, 100%. There's an edge to the first one that really softened up with the other two. And again, even though it's never scary, it still can be like a little unsettling at points, right. Especially because of how well Luigi conveys his fear as well. I think even more so than the sequels too. And it just all comes across really well and still delivers like, a satisfying level of creepiness, even though it's never like scary for us as a player. And that's the kind of like magic thing that only like really Nintendo and Disney can quite get right. Like Haunted Mansion again. Like, it's not like jump scaring you. You're never like truly fearful as an adult at least, but you can still appreciate the underlying horror behind it all. And yeah, that's why I really liked about the first one, whereas the other two just felt a bit too cartoony for me. They're still fun, just not.
Yeah, definitely more cartoony than the first. And it's interesting you mentioned the Disney connection because these companies, I don't know if a lot of people know this, they go way back, man. In fact, Yamauchi first put an international footprint on Nintendo by getting the license to do Hanafuda cards there, of which I actually have an original set of Hanafuda cards.
Wow, that's awesome.
Very cool. Very, very cool sets. Not the Disney ones. I wish it was.
I was wondering if they were, yeah.
Yeah, no, not the Disney ones. It's the ones prior to, they're older than Disney, but the Disney ones are special, man. But I feel like there's a lot of commonality between Nintendo and Disney. They're both, contrary to popular belief, they're both very cheap. They manage their money well. They're very well managed. And both companies tend to make products ages 5 to 95. I feel like there's a lot of overlap with those two companies, which is why a lot of people, I think they call them this without even knowing how right they are, that they are the Disney of Japan.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, in some respects, like Miyamoto kind of feels like the Walt Disney of video games, except of course in a creative sense, not a business one, since Miyamoto's not really running the business. Although it does kind of feel like he's taking on more of a business-focused role in more recent years as he's kind of stepped back from the day-to-day of game development. But yeah, it's still not perfect analogy, but yeah, I mean that's like those are the closest companies I can really think of in their own respective fields, right? And they both have like massive amounts of IP, cherished by children and families and people all over the world. And and Nintendo's on like an upward trajectory. Like, maybe there's a day in the distant future where they're like literally the same size as Disney, if not bigger, right? Because like they're aiming for it right now. They got movies, they got theme parks, or elements of theme parks. They have tons of video games. There's of course the market that Disney's kind of dropped the ball on, especially more recently. And it's really interesting to see how both of them are continuing on.
Disney smells that blood in the water, or not Disney, but Nintendo smells that blood in the water for sure. 100%. Part of it,
that's a good point.
They're diversifying to. It used to be that they had the handheld and they had the console, but now they put all their eggs in one basket, and now they're in a console transition during that, which they don't have a dedicated handheld to fall back on. So I think that's part of the reason they're pivoting. And the other reason is we're going into some pretty turbulent macroeconomic waters, and I think Nintendo understands that there's two things that are typically bulletproof to that, and it's the entertainment industry, so like movies, and its theme parks. Actually, they've basically been able to ride out those kind of things in terms of entertainment, as long as we don't have another pandemic, right? Because that was kind of one of them.
It is. And to that point, like, yeah, honestly, the Wii U was the best thing that happened to Nintendo. Like, who knows what would happen if they didn't have that epic failure? Because it really forced them to reassess everything. We may not have the Switch without it. We wouldn't have theme parks. We wouldn't have movies. Like, it's because mobile games probably. It's because of that one single failure that everything else has changed around Nintendo. They realized we can't just have video games. Like, we need to diversify. And even if it's not, even if video games are still at our core, like we need to have other, backup plans as well. Or maybe not even backup plans, but like just other ways of both bringing in revenue, but also, broadening our demographic even more. The Wii was only able to do so much by itself, and of course, a lot of that marketing carry on to the successor. Obviously, people who bought the Wii for Wii Bowling didn't buy a Wii U for Wii Sports U, and yeah, so I think it's interesting to see how Nintendo, what lessons they took away from that, and how they're still, still building on those decisions they made in the years since.
Yeah. Although imagine what a Wii Sports U could have looked like with the U Pod. Imagine like having the pod player play as like a referee. And so just like a real referee, you might miss things, or you might deliberately miss things on purpose to skewer one player or the other. But you could use that player as like a referee and kind of get non-gaming family members involved further. Even the ones that the sports game couldn't grab. Okay, well, hey, mom's sitting on the couch. Mom doesn't want to play games. She can referee. Right?
Yeah,
So
exactly.
there were opportunities. I feel like there was a lot of opportunities there. And I just feel like for whatever reason, Nintendo just didn't grasp them, man. But you're right.
Yeah.
I think there's one of the Midway studios had a thing on the wall when they developed games. And it said, make every game as if it's your last. One day you'll be right. And
that is such a sad way of looking at it, but also true.
I feel like when you feel like this might be your last hurrah, look at Breath of the Wild, for example, post Skyward Sword.
Right.
I feel like you put a little bit of extra oomph in something. No matter what it
totally
is. And look at Metroid Dread after Other M. First major console project after. I mean, yeah, Samus Returns, but that was on a handheld. But that's why I'm kind of hoping Metroid Prime 4 is going to knock it out of the park. It has to.
Yeah, here's hoping. Yeah, I mean, I played at Gamescom. It was real, or I played it at the Switch 2 event before that. Really good from what I played, but still like it hadn't quite shown me what was going to make this Metroid Prime special.
Mm-hmm.
But the latest trailer that came out in the last direct, it did get me excited. Like I know that trailer's like strangely controversial for some reason. I don't quite fully understand it. I liked what I saw, but of course we have to wait and see for the full game. Yeah, like it looks interesting, and I'm hoping that the end result is as fun as that trailer made it look. So, but Retro, like they historically have made amazing games, and they've given me no reason to doubt them yet. Even if I don't love like every game they made, like I can see the effort that went into it, and Tropical Freeze is one of my favorite platformers of all time. So yeah, I have faith that they're going to nail it with Metroid Prime 4, but we'll find out here in not even 2 months now, I think, right? So
how fucking crazy is Donkey Kong's latest output?
it's wild, isn't it?
Like literally one of the best 2D platformers, now one of the best 3D platformers. Right up there in that echelon. I'll tell you what, Nintendo characters have had a fucking run lately. And they know it too. Nintendo fucking knows it. Every one of these goddamn 3D games has its own fully sung theme song and shit. Whether it's Kirby, whether it's they all have like the theme song sung by like an actual artist, and like they know they're producing fire right now, man.
Music hits so hard. Like anytime they have a song with lyrics in a Nintendo game, like it gets me fired up. It's like, why aren't you guys doing this more often?
Yeah.
Like it's so good when they do it. And granted, maybe if they did it too much, it would be overplayed. But they're nowhere near that point yet. I would love to hear more of it from them because it's fire when they get it right. So
yeah, it's just like it's just like with Mario, that Jump Up Superstar, and oh my god, that was such a moment too.
So good.
Yeah, they're just not they're just doing a great bang up job as far as all these games go. But yeah, Tropical Freeze, I can't wait to get to that one because it's damn near perfect, Andre.
It honestly is. Like I still hear a lot of people say DKC2 is the best game in the series. Amazing game. I love that game as a kid, still do as an adult.
Me too, but
I'm sorry. no competition between Tropical Freeze. Tropical Freeze blows DKC2 out of the water, in my opinion. It's just that good, and that doesn't take anything away from DKC2. But Tropical Freeze, I think, is one of the best 2D platformers I've ever played. Period.
That whole
like,
African island, just that whole
amazing
escalation where you're in the tornado
like with
shit.
The tornado, then you have like the dancing animal heads you can like leap between, right? Yeah, it's fantastic. It's also, that game is a roller coaster. Every stage is a roller coaster. Some of them are literally roller coasters with the minecart stages. It's just fantastic.
Goddamn rocket stages right this time around.
The rocket stages, and they made those fun.
Yes.
And then the music too. Like one of the best, most banger soundtracks I've heard in a platformer. Like to the point like it's weirdly emotional at points. Like there's some songs in there that got me moved. I'm like, what the hell's happening here? This guy just wants his bananas back, and I'm almost crying over a Donkey Kong game because of the music. It's so good.
Well, and here's the other thing. Like everybody talks about, I want the Kremlings back, and yeah, it's cool to see it. Well, it would be cool if hypothetically the Kremlings were to ever come back. I will say that, but
right.
I think the Snowmads were a good step in.
I fully agree. I wasn't the biggest fan of the Tikis. I thought the Snowmads did a great job.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I've always wanted King K. Rool and the Kremlings to come back, but I was totally content with the Snowmads at the same time. I thought they were really fun. And honestly, in another world, if the Kremlings never existed, it was just the Snowmads, I think people have as much endearment for them as they do for the Kremlings right now. I think the Snowmads were fantastic, and I would love to see them again at some point too. Maybe they can join forces with King K. Rool in the future. So
yeah, that'd be pretty neat. Because again, good enemies. But yeah, the Tikis were weak because and again, I feel like it's because the Tikis relied on the native animals on Donkey Kong Island. So you weren't really fighting the Tikis, you were fighting a bunch of hypnotized regular ass animals. Whereas the Snowman, just like the Kremlings, they had pop, they had pomp, circumstance, personality. They were cool. Also that fucking snow dragon that freezes the island, very cool intro. So I just
that fantastic. Yeah.
I love everything about that fucking game. And it gives to show you, like, as much shit as I gave the Wii U, it had a pretty damn good output.
When you look back on it in hindsight, it actually had some really good games. I think the main problems were they were relatively spread out, and the fact that there was almost no third-party support also worked against it. It made those gaps even more obvious. But when I look back, I think some of my favorite games of the last 10, 12 years were actually on Wii U. Tropical Freeze, Mario Maker 1, Mario Kart 8 even. We got the Redux on Switch, of course, but and on other games I can't fully remember right now, but I even have a soft spot for Star Fox Zero. I know I'm one of the few, and I don't think it's an amazing game, don't get me wrong, but I also feel like it got shat on more than it deserved. I actually thought it was a good game. I just think it needed more game there to justify learning how the gamepad worked with it. But yeah,
if you were to take Star Fox Zero and just give it regular ass controls, I feel like there was another game that did this. I think it was called Lair, maybe, for the PS3. If I remember.
Oh yeah, with the gyro controls,
yes.
And they
and they finally fixed it and just gave you the regular ass controls, and it was fine.
Yeah,
I feel like the Star Fox Zero could have that same thing.
Yeah, I mean, even Nintendo's done things like that. I'm trying to remember anything specific, but in some of their here's when they took Donkey Kong Country Returns, fittingly enough, put on the 3DS, they dropped the waggle and just made it a button, and that was way better. Not everything is a perfect match for motion controls, and sometimes just conventional buttons is better, and in that case it was with Lair.
Right. Yeah, just because, trying to control that dragon like that sometimes, especially, and again, that was in the era of the economic Birdman. Sony and Microsoft were shoving everything into motion, because of accessibility. But
right, it was right. It was only born because of the Wii. They're like, oh, this thing, they're doing something unique with this. Just slam in our own gyro and make this game that shouldn't need it. Mandate support for it. Even Uncharted, the first Uncharted was affected by this because they had those dumb log walking segments where you have to hold the controller. I forgot about that until just now. But I replayed the game recently, just a few months ago. But I never beat it originally. I finally just beat it on my PS5 through the Trilogy Collection or whatever it's called, Nathan Drake Collection, and they removed it. They removed the gyro controls, and it's better. That's why I forgot about it until just now. So.
Oh, 100%, man. But yeah,
Yeah.
it just goes to show you that what was it? What was it that they each had their own little motion doodad? What the fuck was it that Sony had the ball on the stick or whatever?
PlayStation
Oh,
Move.
PlayStation Move, yeah.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft had Kinect, is what they had. And
That was,
basically, I just imagine like the Legend of Icarus and Daedalus. Yeah,
of
so
course.
yeah, basically they decide to glue they decide to fucking glue feathers to their arms, flap their arms really, really hard, and maybe they can
Yeah.
fly like that Nintendo bird over there. And
That was a.
turns out they
Go
melted.
ahead. I'm sorry.
Turns out they melted, fell into the fucking water.
They really did. That was a weird and kind of almost sad era. Like, because both of them were years late. Like, Nintendo had 4 years of their, I think it was maybe 3, 4 years. I think it was 4 years before the competitors really came out. And by that point, like, the Wii itself was already, starting to wane a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, that will continue for the subsequent years. And, by the time Kinect came out, Kinect, to my memory, actually did initially pretty well. But there wasn't much momentum beyond that launch, to my recollection. And since they were PS Move, I don't think PS Move ever really took off. It was undoubtedly an impressive technology, especially with how they made it work with their existing iToy. But again, like Nintendo had the first mover advantage. They were doing all the cool stuff years before the others were, and by the time they got to it, people weren't really caring as much, And of course, they to the point that when Xbox tried bundling or did bundle in the Kinect with their subsequent system, it bombed. No one wanted it then. So.
Oh no, especially it's like it was this weird HAL 3000 thing that was always on, and like people.
Yeah, watching your every move.
It could creep people out. So seeing if you had a physical video game, so it could like laser it and terminate it. Like,
yeah.
No. Do you like the Wii? If Nintendo hadn't shat the bed on the software side, Mario Galaxy 2, Wii Music, fucking Metroid, oh mommy, other M mommy, Metroid, what is it, Skyward Sword. Do you feel like if the Wii would have continued with the Revolution direction, a focus on 2D games, revival of old franchises like Punch Out, a focus on family games, do you feel like they could have gotten a little bit of legs on that, or do you think it was on its way out truly? If it would have had different software, if it would have if it would have built on the casual audience they were towards.
No, 100%. I've had this exact thought. Nintendo dropped the ball when it came to the casuals. Like, it seemed like they had one really good idea, being Wii Sports, and then they ran out of ideas. Wii Music was not it, It looked cool in the presentation. When you play the game, it's kind of garbage. And, that kind of went for a Wii Play and, all those other weird games they made too. Not that there wasn't any value in them. I had some fun with Wii Play. I like the little the tank game in Wii Play, or the laser hockey thing. But the thing is, for most people, like, they got their Wii Sports, and that was the main appeal for them. And Nintendo didn't have, and Wii Fit. I'll give credit to Wii Fit as well. They had those two really good. Yeah, they had those two really amazing ideas, and nothing else beyond that really reached the broader consumer, and that's why I think it really lost steam. Like, people bought for Wii Fit and Wii Sports, and then that was it. Outside of the hardcore fans, of course, who bought the other games. And I think Nintendo kind of screwed up in that they did a poor job of maintaining the momentum with this new blue ocean market they had reached, and it sucks because that really set them back. Like, because it's funny because, like, it's like, oh, Wii's killing the competition. Like, they're doing so freaking well, right? They've really expanded the market. The problem was they were expanding into a market they weren't able to keep while still kind of losing the core market that they thought they had, and that's what really sunk them with the Wii U. They had no markets to fall back on because they screwed up with the casuals, they screwed up with the hardcore, and that's when they were left.
They never show up for Nintendo. This is something I feel like it's a combination of things, right? I feel like Nintendo gets sometimes deliberate bad advice from the industry. I feel like sometimes it's deliberate, which is hey, stop leaving the hardcore behind. The hardcore, the hardcore, the hardcore, the hardcore, the hardcore, the hardcore, the hardcore. I feel like that's a drum beat that Nintendo gets drilled into their head when the hardcore never show up for Nintendo. Nintendo just is not willing as a company to offer what they would need to get these spec-obsessed, obsessive freak gamers. And that's what they are. These are people. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm one of them. But when you talk about hardcore gamers, these are not people that are typically super aligned with normal society. They're just not. And so they're obsessed with specs. They're obsessed with these super graphics games. They're expensive to keep. They're demanding. you can make games for them, but you probably shouldn't design your entire hardware outlook around them when you have no experience doing that, unlike Microsoft and Sony. And so it seems like every time they have a success, they get that drum beat into them. I feel like that's part of the problem is people are saying, well, okay, the casuals are great, but why didn't you do anything for the hardcore? And so Nintendo goes, oh, yeah, you're right. Maybe we should do something for the hardcore and give them a little bit of a boost in graphics. And then it shits the bed. So that's part of the problem. The other part of the problem, I feel like, is that Nintendo doesn't really want the casual market that they think they do. So they start off by giving these markets something, and then they decide, okay, now that we've got the casuals, let's try to move them into the games we want to make and not the games they want to play. And so let's make a Mommy Metroid game. Let's make Wii Music. Let's make a sequel to the 3D Mario game that did half of what the 2D Mario game did. Never mind that the sales are half. It's half a fucking Galaxy, and it's like a quarter of Super Mario Brothers. Well, fuck that. Let's do Mario Galaxy 2, and then let's put a tutorial into Mario Galaxy 2 so the dumb casuals learn how to play it. And so I feel like they're doing that, and of course the casuals don't show up because they don't want to fucking play 3D Mario. They don't want to play it. At least they didn't. Odyssey kind of shows they finally may have built that bridge. But at the time, they didn't seem to want to play those games. They definitely didn't want to play Other M.
No.
Nobody wanted to play Wii Music. Nobody. They didn't want to play Skyward Sword. And so, what do you think of that? What do you think of that 1-2 punch? Am I off base there? Or does it feel like, on one hand, Nintendo just wants to use those casuals to funnel them into the games they want to make, and then also they kind of listen to that gaslighting from the industry that says also focus on the hardcore that don't want you?
Yeah, you know what's funny? In a sense, I almost wonder the Wii kind of backfired on them in that it did. I think it did bring, it did introduce gaming to a lot of people, obviously. But I think one, there was a natural dead end for a lot of those people. They got their Wii Sports or Wii Fit, and didn't care beyond that. But two, I think for some people who did care beyond that, and maybe I'm biased by my own experience, I think they may have started looking for the games that they were interested in elsewhere after being introduced to it. Here's an example. Yeah. So my dad, he didn't play gaming at all. Like, throughout my entire life with them. Like he'd maybe watch me play a game every now and then, or, he'd like try the controller for like 10 minutes at a time, and that's it. But beyond playing Pac-Man in the arcades, the man had not played a game in his life. But once Resident Evil 4 came out, so actually two things. Resident Evil 4 came out on the GameCube. Okay. He knew he couldn't play it, but he loved watching me play through. He's like, I've never seen a game like this before. Yeah. It's like a movie. And so he wouldn't really play it unless I was home so he could watch me play it. But he knew he couldn't play it himself. But then they made the Wii version, and that used a simple pointer with the where you point where you want to shoot. Like, it's pretty basic. And granted, he still had a lot of problems with it. But I realized, like, hey, maybe my dad can actually learn how to play it. And sure enough, he did. And that got him into playing more games. And that actually segued into other games, to the point that he's now primarily a PlayStation gamer. Okay. Where he's playing games like Last of Us, Uncharted, Tomb Raider, and even most recently Fortnite, the game he's addicted to. And of course, you can play all those games, Fortnite as well on Switch, but that's more recent. My point is that, there may have been more people like my dad who were like, hey, I like gaming, but the graphics on the other systems look way better. Let me go pick up one of those instead of this, Wii that's playing visuals of 480i. It was
a backfire. And I feel like dads are tricky with that too, because I grew up with my dad playing video games. He was huge into gaming in the NES era, and he was a pretty big gamer through the N64 era. And then the moment they went to 2 thumbsticks, he was out. But it's funny. It's a funny story about that. Later on, there was a game called Viet Cong Purple Haze that used 2 thumbsticks. Played that fine. He played The Last of Us fine.
Yep. There you go.
There are certain games he played just fine, but if you put Legend of Zelda in front of him, you don't.
You're 100% right. Like, it's funny, games that we consider simple, like even 2D Mario, my dad can't play worth a damn. He cannot handle 2D Mario, but Fortnite, he can run around and jump and shoot like a madman. I don't understand it. I don't get it, but it's just funny how some people's, brains work. Maybe it's just because like, Fortnite just feels more natural, like it feels more organic than a 2D game, maybe. I don't know. I did see a comment from Rush Dog here that I also want, it came to my mind as well. They're saying that the problem with Wii Music was that it was vastly inferior to Rock Band and Guitar Hero, which were both big hits for the casual market. Yeah, I actually wanted to comment on that because Wii
Yeah.
Music seemed like such a shoe-in. Like the reveal for Wii Music, amazing. Before it was known as Wii Music, at the initial Wii reveal where it's like Miyamoto's conducting a symphony or whatever, beautiful, amazing. The game itself, hot trash. Like it's using all public domain crap and a few Mario tunes thrown in. Come on, Nintendo, come on, man. You're making the most bank you've ever made in your life off the Wii, and you can't afford anything? You can't get songs?
That is a devastating point, actually. That reminds me, we got to get to chat. Oh shit! I've been so immersed in this convo, we've been ignoring.
I know. Sorry, it's been good.
Yeah, I'm admonished. Admonish me, chat. And boy, we got quite a few of them built up. So all right. So everybody knows the super chat rule. I read your chats and I do it for free. That's how much of a great guy I am. So Cryatosa says, "Yo, let's go, Zoo. I hope you feel better. I'm hanging in there with cough drops, Vicks Vapo Rub, and NyQuil. Hanging in there. But this
you sound good to me, so I'm impressed you're able to do this.
Yeah. This lingering cough, it's like that lingering COVID cough, it sucks. There it is, speaking of which. And that Shanghai shivers ain't going to put you down. Nah, I'm too stubborn to die any of that shit. Upper Nimbus says, ready for this one. Monster says, Zoo, grats, dude. He's talking to you about 15 years on YouTube. Damn, the Monster says. Been on YouTube that long too. Laugh out loud. Phil One Up Collect says, what's up? What's going on, Phil? Monster says Miller's good. And then the Monster also says Angel Fire. Yeah, gosh, that's the glory days of the internet. Image boards, game facts, GeoCities, Angel Fire. Fuck yeah.
We grew up in the golden internet era. It kind of sucks now. Like social media, all these template standard websites. Back when the internet was new, like when you came across, like when you were looking for information, you knew you're going to find it on a website that had someone running it who was passionate about it, yes. Right? Like I remember going to Harvest Moon fan sites, and you find everything you needed to on these websites because it was run by one guy who just knew everything about the game somehow, And nowadays, like just everything's on, Reddit, or people are trying to monetize it in some way. I mean, including people like myself making videos on YouTube, And it did lose some of that authentic feel I had back then.
Oh, 100%. And that's one of the things that I kind of consider myself like crazy old school, like I'm anonymous. Although that comes with some negativity too. Because we don't use our anonymity well, I feel like a lot of assholes don't. But because of bad behavior from some of those folks, because the corporate interests are here sanitizing everything now, I feel like we're at the Alamo in terms of the old men. I feel like we're about to be down for the count. It just seems to be going in that direction, sadly. But yeah, I'm one of these folks. I always tell folks, no matter how small the channel stays, no matter how big it gets, I'll never monetize. And the reason for that, it's not that I look down on people who do. It's another way. It's another way to have a job and work, right? And I think if you can do that, if you can monetize and you want to, I think that's terrific. But I feel like when YouTube was a hobbyist thing, we lost some magic. I do agree with you. It feels like.
Yeah, definitely. And to be fully fair, like, I don't know if that was ever sustainable or not. People only have so much time. And so there may be that shit too. But yeah, I mean, things have changed, maybe for the better in some ways, maybe for the worse. And yeah, I think, one of the losses was just like that pure passion you would come across on those websites or even message boards then, like it's sad, like GameFAQs' message boards are basically dead these days. And I remember back when they were vibrant.
I was on there all the time, man.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm sure if you search Manga Zoo, I'm sure some of those old Zelda discussions are still floating there.
I would not want to look at what I was posting on GameFAQs 25 years ago. I'm sure it's super cringe. I don't want to know.
Oh, that was young business. That was young business school. That was young business school, Zoo, and I was a fucking idiot.
I think we all were.
100%. Some of those video game business takes, woo!
Yeah.
Let's see here.
It's gonna be great when we look back 25 years from now and think our current takes would start cringe too.
Well, if you're doing any kind of evolution whatsoever, that should be the case.
That's true.
I mean, it should follow your biology. Every 7 years, every cell on your body is different. You're an entirely new person. So if you can't come up with some new thoughts in those 7 years, I don't know. You're failing yourself, guys. Like, definitely should always be learning. Should always be evolving. Monster says, "Sup Nimbus." He's playing nice saying, "Sup Monster." Nintendo Prime comes in to say, "Woo!"
Yeah,
Nintendo Prime. He had a long, great ass podcast last night. I was catching some of that while I was working today because we had a movie date night last night. But that was good. He's talking about some of the fake outrage around Nintendo, which always chaps my ass because honestly, there's enough genuine concerns, which maybe we'll get into, with the Switch 2 and the direction of the industry in general. Why do you have to fucking lie? I guess is when I look at these. Why do you have to lie? Just there's enough real issues.
Yeah, there's a lot of exaggerations. I mean, and unfortunately, hate is selling right now. I don't quite understand it. Well, maybe I do. I mean, outrage always like gets attention, unfortunately, and people are just hopping on that bandwagon, So
well, and again, it's easily monetizable, like OJ from Player Essence like to say, rents do, So we were talking to this cat on. He was talking about how Ghosts of Yotoi is failing or whatever. He's like, "Hey, got the numbers. They're bad. They're bleak." And meanwhile, OJ's like, "You fucking liar." He's like, "Here's the Circana numbers." He says it's fine. It's like, "Oh yeah, but it's underperforming Ghost of Tsushima." It's like, and I had to step in. I'm like, "Hey, Endymion, you understand that the numbers in the Ghost of Tsushima launched in 2020, right? That was a black swan event. You understand everybody was at home. All of gaming's competition was fucking closed. It was also on the PlayStation 4, which was a much more installed system at the time. Like, what in the fuck, dude? It's like you're either being disingenuous or you really are bad at this. And I hate to call people out, but this is a habitual defense. That's why I told him, I said, "Hey, come on the show. I won't be rude. I would love to talk to you about how you can call a game a failure. Literally, it's been out for what, a week? And you're calling a game a failure?" And I couldn't get anything. I was like, "Well, yeah, you can fucking, I'm not buying your fucking Antifa game." I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. We're talking about the sales of the game. Matt Piscatella says you're full of shit. That's all I'm saying. I don't give a shit about any of this other weird shit you're pushing. You're full of shit on the sales.
It's silly and maybe a little sad how much we collectively like follow and care about game sales. Like, really, the only people it matters to are the people running the company.
No, you're
for
right
the most
about
for
that.
the rest.
No,
yeah.
Part of it for me,
and I'm not excusing myself from that either.
No,
like, I've obviously commented on it too, and I've covered it. Yeah, for sure.
Dude,
it's like it doesn't affect
numbers,
us.
Man. I'm an evil king of numbers. It's my business mind. I'm drawn to it, but it seems like what I hate is like if nerds want to have a discussion on numbers, that's one thing, and that would be me. This guy is just using it to fight some weird other agenda, right?
Yep.
So he's like, "Hey, this game sold because I don't like the game, or I don't like something that somebody who made the game might have said, and so we're gonna say that the game failed, even though the Circana numbers are launch align tracking just fine." When you like, grifters, man.
Yep, totally.
Like, quit it. But anyway, it was a good. It's a roundabout way of saying it was a good podcast. Prime, I enjoyed it.
That's great.
Let's see. Upper Nimbus says, "Welcome in, Prime." Monster says, "That's crazy. You went for broke. Cool hearing stories like this about the founding of GameXplain." The Monster says.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool in hindsight. It felt less cool in the moment. We're like, "Oh crap, I can't afford anything." Luckily, it worked out and it was worth it. But that's easy to say when it works out. When it doesn't, you don't hear those stories as often, and it's less fortunate in those cases.
Anytime you have business ventures like that, it's always like a nerve-wracking time. It takes years off your life, man. And I feel like it doesn't have.
I'll probably die at 45.
Yeah. I feel like it doesn't have to be this way, though. I would love to see the incorporation of more worker co-ops. Something I'm very passionate about. As I talk about these all the time, there's a company called Mondragon Corporation. Have you heard of it?
No.
It's a Spanish corporation that is done with a worker cooperative model. And they were able to actually stay afloat when a lot of recession racked the rest of Spain in the Basque region. Very, very cool example. And the reason they were able to do that is they were able to make decisions that a LLP or a shareholder-based model couldn't make. So, for example, one of the things they did is when times got tough, they lowered all of their own pay. Now, that's something that's a little harder to do. They voted to just, hey, we'll all take a pay cut. That way, and nobody got laid off. And it was just a very cool model.
Good luck having Tim Cook, lower his salary, right, for all his employees or whatever.
It happens. It's very rare. Iwata did it, but again,
Iwata, yeah, exactly. It was, yeah. I feel like business is very
CEO,
very different in Japan. Where CEO salaries are already far lower than in the West. So
yes, yeah, 100%. Smash Monkey says only problem is gaming kept growing after the Wii, and the height was 2020. So it depends on what you mean by that, Smash Monkey. You're right, and keep in mind the argument wasn't that gaming wasn't going to stop growing. It was that gaming was growing by following macroeconomic trends up and down. So basically, when the crash happened, gaming crashed with it. Gaming went whoop, and we lost a lot of studios. When gaming popped back up, gaming rode that macroeconomic trend once again upward, and we went up quite substantially after 2009. So on one hand, yes, you're correct. Gaming did continue to grow, but you also have to look at the sectors by which gaming was growing. And you will notice a trend. It was mobile and it was PC in those time periods. We're talking about console gaming in particular. You are correct that gaming did continue to grow, but it grew not out of any natural growth and adding new customers in. It grew because it was riding positive macroeconomic trends, such as population increase, gaming's getting older and having more disposable income. The Chinese market, for example, just opened to consoles. There was a whole bunch of stuff that was happening in that period. Emerging markets, etc. Just like the massive expansion that happened with the NES era when that occurred, and you had cold markets opening up once the fall of the Soviet Union happened. Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis were able to start to make little inroads into Eastern Europe, for example. But anyway, that's a whole other thing. Let's see. Super Aiden 2139 says, "Hey Andre." Then you said, "Hey Aiden." And then the Monster Review, Shadows of the Empire needs a re-release. That is comment of the night right there. I'd buy it.
So does that. Why hasn't that happened yet? That'd be honestly, that would be a game. I would love if they went back and just fully remade it. I'm kind of not anti, but I'm not the biggest fan of kind of pointless remasters, even more so remakes. Because I just rather put that effort into a full new game.
Yeah.
But I love Shadows of the Empire. Obviously, it's extremely dated. I think there's a lot of potential there if they did remake that from the ground up. Just rethink everything, remake the Battle of Hoth on an even grander scale. And yes, I know there have been other games that have done that, but none of them have hit quite in the same way that game did. So you can capture that energy, expand it, and then do that for all the levels. I think we'd agree that was a highlight of that game. If they could make all the rest of the levels as close to a banger as that, that'd be amazing. So
I need it. Inject that right into my veins, man. Yeah, the Hoth scene, the jetpack scene. There's a canyon level where you're chasing Boba Fett. I'll never remember charging my jetpack and getting the jetpack for the first time and jetting across that planet. Or you're in the canyon and you're going up the canyon path. There's this big, giant, dumb-looking ape thing. What the fuck is this silly-looking thing? And all of a sudden, he goes, whop! And he takes literally half your health, slapping you. And not
it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying
they had the Wampas. Yeah, they kick your ass.
Well, that's what I looked at. It's called a Wampa. That makes sense. He womped me for sure.
Yeah, that's what they're named after, obviously.
Yeah, he womped me all right.
Or it even had a whole-on train level, we're taking you through an environment, decades before Uncharted, too, So
you're on the top of the junk train. You fight IG-88, the other God,
dude, that guy kicked my. I had to cheat. I had to use the cheat codes to beat him. He always kicked my ass. I didn't know how to take him on.
Nasty.
He was an asshole.
We had the speeder bike stage. That game.
Yep.
Dude, we need that.
It was so many varied gameplay types in it. Then you had the final run on that Hook space station or whatever. We were playing in the
one of my favorite tracks. Yeah. The music is epic on that last run.
It was really good. Yeah.
Oh, got me reminiscing now, Monster. I want it. That's you said
Right?
100%. Yeah. Zoo, but you love the GameCube. That's a running joke on this. Let's see here. GameCube rules, but I can understand your opinion. LOL. The bongos. Oh, the bongos. That fucking
I
bongo
had them.
game.
Yep.
Oh my god. And what's amazing is like there's so many like videos, and I watch them. That are just like, oh, the hidden tortured genius of the bongo game, and no, no. But it is interesting. Wind Waker got ripped apart when it came out. LOL, it did. It sure did. For various reasons. Again, I actually thought the reasons most people were yelling at it were really stupid, like the art style. I thought the art style. I looked at that art style, I'm like, man, this is great. This looks fine. Like, what is everybody so mad about the art style? I'm mad about the fact that it takes 5 fucking days to sail to an island where I get a goddamn ruby.
That is why I didn't like Wind Waker until Wind Waker HD, because the Swift Sail is a game changer. Like, it straight up makes that game playable.
Nice. It's got a pretty interesting combat system too. And that's the other problem is they didn't use it. The enemy is you could slap a fucking sandwich together in your kitchen, come back, and still be alive. Like, it's one of the things that Breath of the Wild improved upon is those enemies will fucking kill you if you walk away.
Yeah, that world actually felt deadly, at least for a time, and Wind Waker never quite did, so...
Yeah.
I was more afraid I was going to die of old age sailing across the ocean.
The early and mid-game, I feel like the early and mid-game in Breath of the Wild is some of the best gaming ever gotten.
I agree.
And then once you get enough weapons and skills, it kind of falls apart after that, until you get to Hyrule Castle. But
it's at its absolute best until you're overpowered and you don't fully you don't have a great grasp on the full gameplay loop of the game.
Yeah.
It's when you start understanding what they've done mechanically that starts to weaken a little bit, in my opinion. And that's when I went, all right, time to go beat Ganon and get this over with.
Right, and that's how I play it now. So when I do my usually semi-annual every couple of years playthrough of Breath of the Wild, what I'll do is I'll go try to do different shit every time. And then when I feel that moment, when it feels like that, it's time to go begin.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't necessarily do all the beasts. I go explore the world. I do it very organically. And when I'm ready, I'm ready. And I feel like that is the way to play Breath of the Wild. I need to try Tears of the Kingdom again. I am told by many people I need to try this game again. I don't know, man. That one just kind of lost me. I think it's just too busy. It feels like I'm being pulled in way too many directions unnaturally.
On the one hand, I don't know if I should share my opinion, just because I don't want to dismiss others and maybe they're right for you. But for me, I beat that game and I regret it. It's fine, but it's just aping Breath of the Wild again, but it's not as good a second time, and I do too much credit. I mean, I think what they did with the engine, the literally being able to build engines in the game was amazing. I just don't think the game did a great job implementing it or utilizing that idea, and I kind of wish they had just made that a whole new game. Don't lock it to Zelda. Do something brand new with that amazing physics-based engine they came up with. But I think they were holding each other back. I think Zelda held back its potential, and I think having the whole system there held back what a Breath of the Wild sequel should have been, in my opinion, at least. But a lot of people liked it, so
Nintendo always chooses the road less taken. So everybody was thinking Elden Ring when they think about a big fantasy game at the time. Elden Ring. Nintendo actually looked at Minecraft, I feel like. Nintendo looked at Minecraft.
Yeah, no, totally.
Let's
even Donkey Kong feels a little Minecraft inspired.
Donkey Kong is definitely Minecraft.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Upper Nimbus says, I'm with you, Monster. GameCube for life. Hell yeah, dude. Might be my favorite console, to be honest. And Upper Nimbus says, let's go. But I totally get people's thoughts on it. Rush Dog says, evening, gentlemen. What's everybody drinking? Andre is having a Miller High Life. I'm having the Yamazaki 18. Monster says, Star Fox Adventures. Woof. Hey,
I sorry.
No, go ahead.
I know I comment every point, but that's a game I really wanted to like, and I like so much about it. Visually, it's beautiful, but every time I play it, it's just such a slog. I'm I just get bored going through Star Fox Adventures.
So Barry Cadenza, who used to work at Premium Edition Games, he was on the show and he actually had a really compelling story about how that might have happened. Basically, that was a way of, so it was Dinosaur Island. We all know it was Dinosaur Island at first,
Planet, yeah.
which was a rare property. This was
Yep.
during the acquisition talks with Microsoft. There was a fear that they were going to take all that work and Microsoft would get the rights to that because it wasn't one of the earmarked Nintendo properties. And so how did they get away with preserving that work? They stuck Star Fox on it.
Go figure. Yeah, sneaky.
So that might have been why. He's not saying he knows for sure, but I feel like that's a compelling case for why that might have been the way it was.
I believe it.
Let's see. Then it says, Sup Rush Monster says, yeah, but the weird is what makes it great. I think that I agree with that from the perspective of being 20 years in the past. I think if I'm a shareholder at Nintendo, I think I'm wanting to knock you upside the goddamn head for all the weird. But if I'm a gamer looking 20 years in the past, yeah, I think there's a lot to admire about the GameCube now. Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to see that. I'm starting to shed my old man grumpiness towards it. Sunshine's so good, had lots of cool ideas. I love the tropical setting of Sunshine, though. I'm a summer kind of guy myself. It is janky, LOL. That eel stage, oh man. Let's see. I always felt like the eel stages in Nintendo games, looking at you, Majora's Mask. Oh god, that fucking Great May Temple. Yeah.
I love Majora's Mask, but that temple it can be rough. Yep.
I do too. That temple about broke me though. The fact that it's a water temple and it's even more confusing than the link to the Ocarina water temple, and you got the fucking time mechanic.
Yeah, the fact that there's a giant moon coming down. Yeah,
you're about done with the temple, but you're out of time, and so you got to rewind. I got to do the whole fucking temple over again.
Yep, that's the worst.
But I also have a soft spot for Majora's Mask. Econo Valley, Andre, hear my pitch real quick. Econo Valley could be its own fucking IP, its own game. It's so interesting.
Yeah, sign me up. I'm there.
Dude, like an archaeological exploration of like the Econo Valley. Oh, dude.
Yeah, no, I love it in the unsettling feel of the entire area. Like, honestly, I think almost no company does unsettling as well as Nintendo. Like when they nail it, you know, like even the Paper Mario games have amazing like horror themed chapters, and we talked about this a little bit with Luigi's Mansion already, and I just love that feeling, you know. So,
oh, me too, 100%. You met with an unfortunate fate, haven't you? Yeah, I definitely have a soft spot for that game. Let's see. Let's go. Kirby Poop Riders. I buy it. So what the fuck would Kirby Poop Riders look like? Would that be like a combination of Conker's Bad Fur Day with Kirby?
We don't want to know. You know, the new game in the racing mode, like they leave a star trail behind them they can or draft off of. Yeah, that would be a very different trail in this version of the game.
Oh, that's good. They let Sakurai cook. Man made them millions. Yeah, and there is an argument to be made because that was kind of my whole thing. It's like, what the fuck is this? What is this Project Ego that they're allowing? This is crazy. This is GameCube level vibes for like the creative freedom they're allowing. And it's like, you know, like OJ told me, it's Sakurai, bro. Like he probably was and Rush Dog says this a lot too, which is that he was probably in a very, very good position to negotiate not being like an actual Nintendo employee. To say, hey, I'll make Smash Brothers, but you're going to let me make this first.
Yeah, he's probably in such a great position that like he doesn't have to. He can kind of do what he wants.
Yeah,
he's probably making way more now too than he would have as a Nintendo employee. So yeah, I think it worked out for him in every manner it could.
Oh, and dude, just watching this direct again, like he made a believer out of me. I can't stress, and everybody here knows how hostile to this fucking property I am. And made a believer out of me, like just watching him and watching his enthusiasm. I'm like, man, now I can't even crack my jokes when this game sells what I think it's going to sell because it's just going to make me sad. Because I kind of wanted to succeed for him now. Actually, didn't like the OG Air Ride, but this one's great. I heard the original's like 3 hours, by the way.
Generously. I mean, you can see all the content of that game in literally under an hour. So, I mean, minus unlocks and stuff, but yeah.
Let's see here. I still got to watch the second Air Riders Direct. Upper Nimbus said it's good. Upper Nimbus, even a hater like me enjoyed it. I didn't see today's Direct, but I saw images. Bro, the roster is amazing. Big Kurt, dude, we're getting gooey. We're getting gooey. And Rick, like, yeah, it's great. I've been trying to check out new characters they revealed. Upper Nimbus says, Rush Dog says, today's Kirby Direct was incredible. It's kind of insane the amount of content they're packing into Air Riders. It is nuts how much is in there. Like, and then I think we heard, did you hear that too, Andre, that they said no downloadable content? We're not looking at this as a IP. We put everything into this.
Yeah, I don't want to get too in the weeds on this. Like, on the one hand, I like it on the face of it because, yeah, it's awesome having a content complete game, On the other hand, I do wonder, like, if 3 months from release, we're going to be like, well, where is the new content, Like, will we be asking for DLC at that point? So I'm a little hesitant of celebrating it too much because I need to see the full game to judge if it truly is enough, So we'll see. I'm a little hesitant, but I do get the celebration, and I think it speaks to the state of the industry that people are more excited that this game doesn't have DLC than having a game being released light on content and having the rest come later. So,
man, it's dire.
yeah, it can
be.
I
mean, there's actual problems. There's genuine problems without all this fake shit. Like Japan is great. Upper Nimbus says I went there back in May of this year. Yeah, anybody who gets a chance to go to Japan, do it. Just do it. I've been twice. Yep. I enjoyed both times immensely. I am going to go to the Nintendo Museum. I'm planning not next year, but the year after. I want to go to the Nintendo Museum, and I'm also going to put that park on my itinerary.
You should.
Japan's my dream trip, Monster says. Do it. Do it at least once. Kojima and Sakurai are at opposite ends of the spectrum when it comes to gaming auteurs. Sakurai plays every game he can get his hands on, while Kojima eschews gaming to visit art galleries. And again, two interesting people, because I feel like, again, even though maybe Sakurai has a different input, but if Sakurai is playing all kinds of games, then that's also expanding his mindset and his tools and things like that. So, I'll accept that as one avenue toward, it obviously works. So whatever he's doing, keep it up. That's sick, Monster says. Also, I think Sakurai is a master of giving fans what they want.
He's really good at it, yeah.
I think he's got a read on the customer. I think he's got one of the best I've ever seen.
There are many people that have handled Smash as well as he has.
No.
Yeah.
Think of him as like the anti-Miyamoto. Miyamoto, like, I'm going to give you something you didn't know you wanted, and I don't care what you say.
Yeah, right.
Sometimes it works, and sometimes it's a disaster. Whereas Sakurai, like, I'm going to listen, and I'll give you exactly what you want, sometimes more than what you want. Everybody's here.
Exactly.
Let's see. Upper Nimbus, you've got to go, man. It's honestly the best ever. You'll get lost looking at shops all day. Oh, dude. Yeah, it's... make sure you get a crepe while you're there. There's a couple of really good crepe shops in Japan that it's crazy good. So true, Rush. I feel the same. Horror movies are cool. Don't play many horror games. Damn, I believe you, Nimbus. Always watching vids. Upper Nimbus says I need to read some Junji Ito. You do, yeah, 100%. He's one of my favorites. I would recommend starting with Uzumaki. That's one of my favorites of his. He says, ooh, then LOL. Smile 2 was awesome. Yeah, talk a bit about Smile 2. I thought the steak raise was really crazy in that movie.
Yeah, they did an amazing job with it.
They did, like, just the horror dawning on you of what's going to happen if a pop star is able to successfully do this.
Mm-hmm.
Like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
It's hard to make a good horror sequel, and they pulled it off. I think it was better than the first one, so...
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and then just the escalation and just the examination of trauma, I feel like, was just really interesting.
For sure.
Let's see. Okay, so Upper Nimbus says, to GameXplain, have you seen Black Phone 2 this year?
No, I haven't seen the first one, but I've heard a few things about two, so I'm curious if I should check them out.
Yeah, I'm interested for sure. Black Phone 1 was I like Black Phone 1. Weapons ruled, Monster says, so he's seconds or thirds at this point because my sister too, Weapons ruled. So Black Phone 2 looks rad, Monster says. Upper Nimbus says it was good, definitely solid, but not perfect. I think a third one is on the way. Oh shit! So they're gonna turn this into the next Saw.
Yeah,
wouldn't surprise me. By the third one, it won't be any good at all.
that's how it goes.
Let's see here. Looks like they went the Freddy route. There's only one Freddy. Alien had such a huge impact in the 80s and 90s game development. Contra, R-Type, Turrican, Metroid, StarCraft, and so many others clearly inspired by the Xenomorph. It's one of my favorite movies of all time, Alien. I like Aliens, but Alien is where it's at.
Yeah.
The witches fucked me up as a kid, the monster said.
I'm glad it's not just me. That movie, man, that was terrifying. Jesus.
Yeah, pretty much did. Monster Upper Nimbus 2. Haunted Mansion is the best. Right? Yeah, it's 100%. Yeah, it's so good.
It's great.
First Luigi's Mansion is still the best and the most creepy. Upper Nimbus says you got to play Mansion 1. Monster tells me that's still the best one in my opinion. Nintendo would never do something like that again. I feel like you were talking about too, the characterization of Luigi. Not only did he get his gameplay identity, but they gave him a characterization all his own.
Bingo. Yep.
Same with Captain Toad. I kind of like Captain Toad getting a little bit of a characterization in that game. Kind of got a little bit of a personality. I wish they would have done it with Princess Peach a little bit more.
Yeah, that'd be nice. She's it's funny because people like get on the movie for Princess Peach being like a girl boss and too adept at what she does. But like in the game, she's kind of like a blank slate. You know, there's not a lot there, and I would like them to build on it. So
well, yeah, and again, like I would say to these people, did they play Mario Brothers 2?
Right, where she's actually like doing the same things everyone else is, you know. So
play Mario 2, and then also but yeah, I mean their track record with Peach isn't great. It's mainly blank slate aside from 2. And then we got that Super Princess Peach game, which, yeah. Interesting premise, but pairing that with Peach was, that was a choice.
I keep forgetting that game exists. Every time I hear the name, like, oh, right, that came out. That game happened. Like, it's the same bucket for me as, like, Kirby and Kirby's Epic Yarn, you know, where it's just a thing that happened involving a character I know, and then I never think about it again.
So that game
pissed
me off to the point where that ended up an investor question back in the day.
What, really? Yep. Wow.
Because I was an investor back in the day, and so here's why I was mad. We all knew that. So Kirby's Return to Dreamland was coming. It literally launched a year later. Kirby's Return, which is a real Kirby game. That game started life as a project called Fluff of Yarn. It was going to be an IP starring Prince Fluff from way forward. And Nintendo did the GameCube thing. They did the GameCube thing where they lost faith in it, and they did the ghastly Buffalo Bill reskinning where they ripped Kirby's skin off and draped it over Fluff of Yarn. And all of a sudden, abracadabra, that's a Kirby game now. And I asked a question about that. I said, "Hey, why aren't we pushing this as a new IP when when it's likely, because it wasn't announced yet, that we're going to get another Kirby game very soon? Why don't you take the chance and make this a new IP that could?" Thank you very much for your input.
Wow.
Yeah, so the angry guy asking that question is me. So
I'm gonna get to find that now. Yeah. That's awesome.
Anyway, so Nimbus knows, haha. You know it, brother, haha. Chauncey, Slim Bankshot, still in my fave. What a cool name. The original Luigi's Mansion did get a physical during the Switch era. The only problem is that this physical was on the 3DS.
Accurate.
I don't even think it got censored on the 3DS too. It was pretty late port. Really wish it came to Switch and not 3DS, but I wonder if there's a chance they could port the 3DS version to Switch if they want to fill out their release schedule. Love for that to happen. Would love for that to happen. Well, now it's coming to NSO, so Welp, I don't know. Yeah, that kind of puts the kiss of death on it, to be real. I don't think they've released a game that's been on the. Well, that's not true. Mario 64 and Sunshine, but it was part of a special compilation, so you never know. But it's not looking great. Was Wii U Nintendo's version of pulling an Andre?
I think they were referring to when I mentioned I almost went bankrupt starting GameXplain. So, yeah, I guess you could kind of look at it that way. Except I guess for me, it was earlier in my career compared to Nintendo, where they were over 100-year-old company. But
yeah,
and
and they had the 3DS. If we're looking realistically.
Yeah, that's true. They always had the handheld line to fall back on, right?
Yeah, there was no danger of Nintendo going bankrupt. That wasn't the problem. The problem is that it was Nintendo being Nintendo. That was the problem, which we love sometimes and we hate sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. The Wii U walk so the Switch could run. Yeah. I think that's what Andre was kind of alluding to earlier. Is just that not only that failure, but the Switch really was. Again, I respect and understand what the Switch was going for, even thematically. The Nintendo Switch was trying to separate the game console from the television. So they saw the writing on the wall with all the portable gaming and shit. Where Nintendo seemed to have missed the boat is that everybody already had their own small screen. It's called a cell phone. We already had that everywhere we went. And so this wasn't going to replace the cell phone. It just wasn't. They had to find another way, and they did with the Switch, and that's what's cool. Rush Dog says they made Wii Sports U. It was called Wii Sports Club. Yeah, that fucking milking ergadoozy thing.
Right. Yeah, when you rent the games or something. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that. That ain't no Wii Sports.
No. More like We Rent.
Yes, that's We Rent. That's EA Sports is what that was.
Yeah.
Let's see. Metroid Prime 4 commercials are starting to leak. Yeah, some people are really sensitive to that too. I think Corey Cooper, Metroid Freak, friend of the show, he's like, please don't tag me in that, please. I don't want to see it. Other folks like
there's
curious for my own good.
There's almost nothing in those commercials anyway. There's nothing to really have spoiled. Yeah.
Coolness. Prime 4 needs a direct. So what's your take on this, Andre? I have some folks like Player Essence that are arguing that the directs only get to the core audience. I got other folks saying, hey, if Kirby's Air Rider can get fucking 2, why can't Prime 4 get 1 dedicated direct? What's your take?
I think Metroid definitely should get one. I would say in a grand sense, Nintendo Directs in general are primarily reaching their hardcore demographics. But when I do think that the individual Directs do have a chance at breaking out, because not every Nintendo consumer is interested in every Nintendo IP. But I do think a lot of them will look into those Directs just because it's another Nintendo Direct and people watch it anyway. Like that's what I do. By and large, I don't buy. Well, I do buy most Nintendo games, but I have to for work. But even if I didn't, I'd be watching those directs. And I think that would be a good way of getting in front of people who maybe have a Switch who are interested in Switch 2, but maybe don't know a whole lot about Metroid. It's been 15, almost 20 years since Metroid Prime 3, I think, at this point. And, I think, it'd be good to get that in front of as many eyes as possible. And so far, the marketing for the game has been kind of bad. And they kind of need to reverse course. And I think, at the least, having a direct, possibly even a demo, would be a good way of getting it in front of more people. So
yeah, I really want to see this game do well. Like I just want to, with macroeconomic factors, I want to see something finally topple OG Metroid. Man, I want to see it happen.
Prime or the NES Metroid?
NES Metroid. Yeah, NES Metroid.
Oh, wow.
3.73 million copies in 19.
Oh, sales-wise. Yeah, totally. I forgot that was still the leader. That's crazy.
Dread beat it, but Dread beat it in 2023, I think it was.
Okay.
And so basically the argument I make is that 2.73 million in 1986 is more impressive than 3 million in 20 whatever the fuck. Yeah.
Oh, totally. I think the key thing is that Metroid seems to have that basically 3 million ceiling that just can't break through. And, if they can...
It's like that high Metroid barrier that Sam... It's literally a glass ceiling. Literally.
It really is.
Really.
Honestly, I don't know what's going to happen here. I do think Metroid Prime 4's best chance at breaking through that would have been being a launch title, and obviously that didn't happen.
Right.
Just because I think that can give lesser titles an energy that they may not, like basically free energy, free marketing,
Yes. Yes.
And it's without that, it really has to fall back on conventional marketing, and Nintendo's been dropping the ball with that. So we'll see what happens. So
yeah, I'm nervous. I'm nervous, Andre.
yeah,
As a Metroid fan.
Same here. Yeah, I am too.
Retro more or less missed the entire Switch 1 generation. Yeah.
They did. Yeah, all they had was the port of Tropical Freeze, right?
Had to come bail Sakamoto out, make sure he didn't make another model Metroid game.
Yeah. I'm
mean to Sakamoto. I've got to stop. I'm mean to that guy. Let's see here. Again, you make a game that bad. I'm mean to Sakamoto, guys, and I know Rush Dog gives me shit for being so mean to the guy, but it's not acceptable to make a game so bad that it almost destroys your goddamn franchise. It's just not acceptable. Like, I mean, you can say what you want about Aonuma and Miyamoto at times with their respective franchises. They didn't come close. Skyward Sword is fucked up as that game could be, didn't come close to what Other M did to Metroid. God, and then anyway, he gave us Emio the Smiling Man, so I've got to be nicer. I promised. Let's see here. Tropical Freeze is incredible. Rush Dog says, interesting thought, Monster. Care to show your work? Talk about what? Naughty Dog and Retro being similar. And then, Retro is. And then Upper Nimbus says, the aesthetic backdrop scenery in the Donkey Kong Country games make me feel emotions I've never felt before. Yeah, they're good at that. They're good at that, and it's the music too. Just the music. I think
real quick, I'm sorry.
Back for Tropical Freeze, didn't he?
Sorry,
didn't David Wise come back for Tropical Freeze?
I believe he did the entire soundtrack, and that's why part of the why it's amazing. I think he did every track in that game, and it is amazing. So do you mind if I interject with a chat from the future?
No, go ahead.
A comment. Okay, great. Because I did not realize this. Not only did I misinterpret that comment about me having the Wii U era comment, this is apparently from my old boss at IGN, who I didn't even realize he has his own YouTube channel now. So I'm subscribing to right now because Super Review says I was referring to Sharp Park Road, and that gave me a complete mind fuck here, because I'm like, why do I know that goddamn name? Then that road name, and I googled it. I'm like, I used to live next to that road, and that's where I think I wiped out. Did I wipe out on that road, or it was adjacent to my house, anyways? And I used to ride my motorcycle up and down it, basically to get to work, maybe. Hilarious. I had no idea that was Mark. Mark, great seeing you here. I actually had you in the mind not too long ago, so it's awesome seeing you here. We need to connect at some point. So yeah, this is my boss from IGN. So
is that okay? Well, I will also sub over there. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, Mark, I had no idea you had your own YouTube channel now. That is freaking epic. Those are some sharp thumbnails too. Speaking of Sharp Park, these are sharp thumbnails. So I'm gonna have to look into this for some inspiration.
Let me just interject. I hope the chat doesn't mind. I'm gonna see if it'll let me. YouTube's a real bastard about this. This is the name of the channel, Andre?
Super Review.
Super Review. Okay.
Yeah,
that's easy.
No, this is like we're reuniting right here. This is blowing my mind. So Super Review says game recognizes game. Absolutely, I see a good thumbnail. I gotta comment on it. Like those are some sharp ass thumbnails. So I can't wait to catch up on your videos too.
There's the YouTube channel, guys. So yeah, go give him some love, 100%. And also, there's a lot of people in here that are small YouTubers. If anybody wants to go subscribe to them, Upper Nimbus, Monster. Let's see, scanning through here. You got Upper Nimbus, got Monster. They're both Phil One Up Collects is a YouTuber. We got a lot of good small YouTubers here that I absolutely love. So another shout out to Cold Nights Gamits. There's some great tubers here. So 100%. Got a lot of good creators, a lot of fun in the chat here for sure.
Yeah, it's been great. Honestly, that was shocking. I had no idea. I'm like, why does this sound so familiar? I'm like, oh my god, it's my old boss. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, definitely will. Yeah, I'll definitely hit you up and sub to that for sure. 1000%. Okay, let's find our place here. Da, da, da.
Yeah, sorry, didn't mean to
No,
throw off
that was
the
a
flow.
worthy detour. There it is. Okay. So he says Kremlings were much cooler than the Snowmans. I like the Kremlings better, Rush. I'm just saying the Snowmans were cool too. That's 100%.
The Kremlings had the nostalgia factor going for them, I think, which I think is something it's hard to separate from them innately, you know. But they were also pirates, on the other hand, at one point, and that is pretty fantastic. So, but I guess the Snowmads were also pirate-esque, you know. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see here. My phone just crapped out, Monster says. But then says, oh, they both highly regarded American devs for their companies. Indie missed most of this console gen. Retro missed most of the last, like you said. That is interesting. It's interesting parallels for sure. Mario Kart 8, Breath of the Wild, and Tropical Freeze were all Wii U games. Enough said. Yeah, it's hard to argue with. They did start there. Every 3D, even 3D World was a banger. 3D World is a banger in game design, Upper Nimbus. I feel like in world building, it's a huge miss. And I'll get into
ironic, given its name.
Yeah. But as far as gameplay and being a platforming video game, fucking stellar. Oh my God, chef's kiss.
I basically agree with that. I think the 3D World did an amazing job translating the 2D mechanics into 3D like properly for the first time, in the sense that it was really faithful to the originals. I think I just wasn't that interested in having those mechanics properly, fully in 3D like that, and I always preferred the way they ended up going about the 3D Mario titles. But I will say, to its credit, the recent addition with 3D World plus Bowser's Fury, I love the Bowser's Fury half, and that basically reuses the same 2D style of mechanics in the 3D space, but just now in a much more open area. And I think that's really what I like about the 3D Mars, and you have that giant open space. So I think Bowser's Fury is like a great direction for the series to go in.
I'm told I'm going to love Bowser's Fury because basically Bowser's Fury is everything I loved about 3D World, but now it's in a cohesive island, which is actual world building. It's not floating in Bowser's Ninja Warrior course in the sky. Like all, it's not an African savanna in a snow world.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. Star Fox Assault HD should happen with online. Hot take. I hear good things about Star Fox Assault.
Yeah, a lot of people really like it. For whatever reason, it never quite gelled with me, but I've been wanting to revisit it just because I'm like, maybe I missed something. You know, maybe I will enjoy going back, especially given the fact, you know, Star Foxes are so rare these days. You gotta appreciate it where you can find it. So,
Wii U gave us the Splatoon franchise, so for that reason alone, I have a soft spot. Dude, Splatoon has been such a success for Nintendo.
It's still pick Splatoon in my opinion. That's still my favorite.
Yeah.
Ever since it had the most interesting maps too. Like the problem with Splatoon now is they're starting to cater to the hardcore demographic, so everything has to be perfectly balanced, and that innately leads to, in my opinion, sometimes boring designs, in particular map designs. Like map designs of Splatoon 1 were amazing, and we sadly have not had them come back in the same way since.
I love how the Splatoon 1 maps appeared industrial in nature. Kind of harken back to Miyamoto's time as an industrial engineer with the Donkey Kong scaffolding, and it was really, really cool the way they did that. I definitely could kind of see some of that influence, some of that kind of being proud of some of their heritage there.
Speaking of maps, wasn't always the biggest fan of how they used the Wii U gamepad, but having the map constantly on the gamepad during Splatoon, fantastic. That was great. Toggling with a button isn't quite the same, so...
I just thought it was a brilliant disruption of the shooter genre, because basically they took this genre that is typically for older people. They're like, how can we fucking make this ages 5 to 95? Make them squids and give them fucking 8 guns. Make it like a paintball match. And
that's what Nintendo does best. Exactly.
So good. Literally didn't even know there was a Star Fox game on Wii U. You're not the
that's
only
my boss again.
Review. You're not the
it really says a lot of how badly that game bombed that even my boss who worked at IGN was unaware of this game. It really flew under the radar. I remember there was one reviewer at another outlet who just didn't even finish the game. He's like, I didn't like it, I put it down and stopped playing it, and I'm not reviewing it. And I thought that was pretty funny. I think it was still a good game, but again, not an amazing one. And I could see why some people were annoyed by it. And again, with it being on the Wii U, it was doomed from the start. So
Interesting, Monster. Never thought of it like that before. And then Monster says, yeah, dude, I always felt that way. It is an interesting, Connectimals laugh my ass off. Hey, at least I think we got Viva Pinata out of that dumb shit. So at least we got one thing that I felt like was I feel like Viva Pinata was a little too, it was ahead of its time, man. It was ahead of its time. And it was on the wrong fucking system. If that would have been on Nintendo.
Yeah.
Ooh.
It would have blown up, yeah.
Let's see. Remember when they tried to bundle the Xbox One with the Always On Connect? Oh, do we? And gamers killed it. Gamers fucking killed it, and it was a glorious moment. OMG! Oh my God, that bombed so hard. Monster says, saying Nintendo shat the bed with Galaxy 2 is one hell of a hot take. So again, let me explain that.
Wait, did I miss it? Was this said and I missed it? Because that is a hot take.
It was said. Let me explain it. So, in the Wii era, they put out Galaxy 1, sold about 10 million copies. On the Wii, it sold about 10 million. They then sold New Super Mario Brothers Wii. That was the next Mario game, mainline Mario.
And that did huge, yeah.
That game did, I think, 27 million. It might have done 32 million. I'd have to look it up. I don't know what it ended up with. But it was definitely up there. They followed that up with Mario Galaxy 2, which sold 4 million copies on the Wii.
That was good.
So I stand by that statement. It's not what people wanted. I feel like they insulted people with their fucking dumb fucking tutorial. No, we can play Mario Galaxy, dudes. We just don't fucking want to.
Wait, to be clear, the tutorial, are you talking about the storybook opening? Is that what? Yeah.
They bundled that game with some kind of a fucking tutorial video.
Okay, yeah.
And
I kind of remember. Wait, that was the one that came. Was it for the one with the Wii condom, right? Is that when they
because remember the problem with 3D Mario, Andre, is not that it's being rejected by the market; it's that we're too fucking stupid to go.
Obviously,
our Neanderthal 2D Mario brains are too fucking stupid to see the brilliance of Miyamoto's sick 3D obsession.
But to be clear, you have since become a Galaxy fan.
I have. This is old Zoo talking. This is old Zoo talking.
All right, I respect it.
Basically, he's taking me back in time. He's regressing me.
Right, I get it. Yeah.
Let's see here now. I much prefer Galaxy 1 over Galaxy 2, but both games are great. I'll find out soon. Let's see here. But I mean, I'm pretty hardcore about Nintendo games. New 3D Mario and New Zelda is as hardcore as you can get. I don't know about that. The Zelda Breath of the Wild is literally based on a mock-up of the original Legend of Zelda game, which you can say that's a hardcore game, but it sold 7 million copies in 1986. So I think that took off pretty well for a time when there was half the world was behind an iron curtain, and we had just come off of a video game crash, and there was a cartridge shortage, which meant couldn't even get the fucking game from 1988 to like 1990. A lot of shit that hampered those sales, and it probably could have sold more.
Maybe they shouldn't have made the cartridge out solid gold.
Probably would have been easier to get than those actual cards at the time. In '88,
actually, it might have been. Actually, you're right.
People forget about that fucking '88 cartridge shortage. I wow people all the time, Andre. I'll show them a video of what's not Tom Selleck. What's that fucking reporter's name? The Gonzo journalist guy with the mustache. God, what is his? Not Geraldo Rivera. There's another one, but
no. I know he used to. He did that Consumer Reports show type thing.
Nuts for Nintendo.
What was it? Say again.
It's called Nuts for Nintendo. It was a 1988 special.
Was it John Stossel?
John Stossel. That's it. Yes.
Yep.
I show people that Nuts for Nintendo article, and people don't fucking believe me when I told them that people would cross state lines and stand in lines to pay $100 for Mario Brothers 2 and Zelda 2.
Wow. Like, people complain about game prices these days.
People do not understand how massive a phenomenon the NES was. They don't understand. Including the games that they call black sheeps nowadays. People love those games. I mean, they kind of did. I only met like one person who got it. Galaxy 1 was so good, LOL. Never played Galaxy 2. Yeah, sales don't lie, Monster. They back up your story. They back up your anecdote. Let's see here. But they cracked it. To be fair, Odyssey cracked it. 30, I think it's past 30 million now. So 3D Mario works now. 3D Mario sales now. You can't deny it anymore. There's always the Galaxy Bundle on Switch. Yes. Wii Music was undeniably targeting the casual market. Well, it was a swing and a miss. Because it didn't get it. Nobody wanted that game. Except Mandy. Miss Mandia loves that game. Miss Mandia does love Wii Music because there's a connection there. But again, that just goes to show you how games can connect with individuals in interesting ways. I remember that Wii Music performance back in E3 many years ago.
Wait, real quick, actually, I will be fully honest with Wii Music connecting. I was just super high one day, just smoking weed, and I sat down and started up Wii Music, and I literally sat on the title screen for like 2 hours, just playing the random instruments it gives you, and I had a blast. I won't lie, that was one of the most fun games I had in those 2 hours on Wii. That was amazing, actually. I forgot about that until just now.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's fantastic. So you see there is purpose to it. So the problem with Wii Music that it was vastly inferior to, yes, that's Rock Band and Guitar Hero. Dude, there was the game like Rock Band, man. Oh my God, Rock Band parties. This is part of my heel turn on digital gaming, by the way. Do you know how much fucking money that young, dumb, like business school zoo spent on fucking Rock Band songs? I don't want to know.
They must have made so much bank off that. Yeah, because everyone would invest in that.
I've got a oh God, it's a PS3. And it was a Dark Souls and Rock Band machine. I shit you not. And that PS3 must have 500 Rock Band songs on it. It like $3 a pop.
It's funny you say that was your Rock Band machine, because my boss here in the chat will also, I'm sure, remember that we had a whole like demo room that the guides team was sitting right next to. It's where they would we'd have publishers come over and they'd preview the games for whoever was covering them or whatever, and then other games they use that room for other places too. Right. But once Rock Band came out, that took over that room where every freaking day for like hours on end we could just hear the clacking of like plastic instruments through the walls. It was the most annoying thing in the world. While people inside the room were having a blast, we're out here trying to write guides and we hear like plastic sticks hit plastic drums, and drove me nuts at least. But good times at the same time.
That's such good times, man. It makes me want to pull the thing out. It makes me want to pull the thing out. It really does. Did they ever put Mario Etc. into Wii Sports? Would have been a good transition for the casuals. They had Mario Sports games, but no, Mario never made it into Wii Sports. Would have been kind of cool. After all, Mario was first me.
Someone never played as a Mario Me in Wii Sports?
Should have, if not. After all, like I said, Mario was the first me. Mario was the first representation. He was the first representation of us in a video game. The
there we go.
Portly plumber from Brooklyn. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm waiting for a sale on that bundle. Might be waiting a while. It's a Nintendo first party, but they don't like to do that too often. Oh my God, that Wii Music E3 demo was so bad. The drummer guy meme was legendary.
It's still a meme, even 12, 13, 14 years later at this point? Yeah. More than that. Almost 20 years later, yeah.
Yeah, then Upper Nimbus Seconds Week says maybe a digital sale if you're lucky, but a physical Nintendo games never go on sale. At least not down here in Australia. Oh, God, the poor Australian gamers, man. Fuck. And then, public domain music had no idea. Oh, it was so bad, you said. Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star was a highlight.
It actually was.
He says, that's amazing. Yeah, GeoCities. I had like 2 sites. He says, GeoCities. But man, those were the days. Smash Monkey 3604 says, agree, Flip. Hobby YouTube produced better videos. And yes, GameFAQs was Kino. GameFAQs. Those were the days. Monster says, gotta bounce. Great combo, fellas. Have a good night, y'all. So, Monster, see you later, buddy. Thanks for stopping in. He says, take it easy, Monster. Everybody saying, Super Review saying, see you later. GameXplain putting the horns up. I don't have Guitar Hero crap anymore, but I still got my GameCube bongos. Those fucking bongos will never stop haunting me, man. Let's see.
Absolutely. Well, if you like Galaxy and Bonanza, they're both their original first game that from that team was Donkey Kong Jungle Beat, which used the bongos. So.
I know. And it puts me into such an existential fucking cog disc crisis in mind, because it's like, boy, something did good come out of that, and I just don't want to accept that anything good could come out of a Donkey Kong Country game controlled by fucking bongos.
Well, the good news is you can play on the Wii, where they adapted it to the Wii remote and nunchuck instead. So you can play invisible bongos in the air.
That's amazing.
Yeah, air bongos.
Let's see, Rush Dog, absolutely super review. DK Jungle Beat is such a great game. Keep hearing about that. Well, it should have sold better then. Let's see. Tears of the Kingdom is really good, but the magic isn't there, to be honest. Not the way Breath of the Wild did. And I understand that the sales don't equate to video game quality. I'm just being cognizant right now. Let's see here. I was referring to Sharp Park Road and Epic. Same homie. Game recognizes game. Yeah, good stuff.
That's where it's
connections.
Yeah, exactly. That's where I skipped ahead there. the time warp.
Yeah, snowmans were more Vikings than pirates. Yeah, although Vikings were a type of pirate. I mean, you could argue they were OG pirates.
You're right. Yeah, pirates ripped off the Vikings.
Yeah. Splatoon really benefited from the Wii U gamepad. Star Fox Zero got gyro aiming so wrong after Splatoon got it so right.
That was a harsh comparison, but not entirely wrong.
Galaxy 2 sold 7.5 million. So it might have sold more. Is that on the Wii? Because the numbers I had, I'm using our back. Rush Dog used to be on a Super Nintendo fan site when we called SNES Hub. And I'm using the old numbers from our discussion. Back in 2012, it was 4 million copies. So it must have sold all its stock. It must have sold through. So 7.5 million, still a long way away from 30 million, but that's better. That's better. Let's see. The Wii condom, no joke. That's what I always called it as well. Everyone called it the Wii condom, Nimbus. Yeah, I wanted to play Mario Galaxy 2 on Switch one day. But Zoo, you know I'm Nintendo biased anyway. Soon, super review soon. Talk about Stossel. Yes, it was John Stossel. Yeah, Nuts for Nintendo is the name of the video, and everybody should go watch that tonight if you've never seen it. Because I feel like the land, if you get beyond the PlayStation, most people in the industry are what I call PlayStation babies. They kind of grew up in the PlayStation N64 era. Anything beyond that is some magical land before time. It's like the land of the lost, man. And so it's really interesting to see gamers who think that Zelda 2 and Mario Brothers 2 are black sheeps to go and watch a line a mile long, stand there waiting to get the 4 copies of Super Mario Brothers 2 that came in after some of them went across the state line from Illinois to Wisconsin. Really, really interesting
wow.
video. I own Galaxy 2 on Wii, but I ain't hanging a sensor bar on my TV in 2025. No, sir. That sensor bar, that fucking sensor bar. Oh, you're giving me flashbacks now. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's something. It's if the cord's even long enough to reach how big some people's TVs are these days,
right.
You know?
Unless you've already got the setup. But yeah, a little awkward these days, haha. Andre smoking weed, how naughty.
Yeah, in my younger days.
So since it came up, were you a sativa man or an indica man?
Oh man, I don't even know. I just smoked whatever was around. You would think it's funny because my sister, she for years actually ran a legal pot farm.
Okay.
And so she knew all about the strains, but I picked up none of that knowledge, so I have no idea.
There was one. It was an indica that was called Purple Mr. Nice Guy that I got handed one time. This was, again, years ago. I don't condone this nowadays, but this is years ago in Young Zoo. And that fucking weed put me into a fuzzy couch lock, the likes of which has never been seen before or since. I'll never forget the name of this particular variant. It's called Purple Mr. Nice Guy, but I could not fucking move. Like, I was in the fuzzy couch lock the rest of the night. So if you ever hear somebody, if you do partake of the weed, a little bit of the sticky icky, make sure that if someone calls it Purple Mr. Nice Guy, you know what you're getting into. If they're like, hey, have some purple. You're like, wait a second. Purple what?
You've been warned.
Purple what? So let's see. We look at all the mushrooms behind him. Mushroom tea. So mushrooms are. This is
there are some mushrooms back there. Yeah.
Strange tangent, but one thing that everybody should try to accomplish is ego death. It's very important, and it can open you up to a world of possibility. Mushrooms actually can be useful. Don't listen to what I say, by the way. I'm not a medical expert, but I'm going to say it anyway. Mushrooms can be an interesting hack, I feel like, for giving you ego death. So that's one potential use for them. Of course, you can do it on your own, being wrong throughout your entire life constantly, and coming to terms with that cognitive dissonance can also give you ego death.
I think the issue is for many people who experience that never have that cognitive dissonance, and they never reach that point that they should, right? Yeah.
The cog diss is good. I try to tell people that if you feel like you got two positions in your head and they're fighting with each other, that means that your position's not very well grounded. That's what what the brain's trying to tell you. It's why the double think's hitting you. So let's see. Wahoo, like that one lady we were talking to. What was that one lady that was just a freak that was like, the rides are failing. It's like, well, actually, here's the numbers. The rides aren't failing. And it's just like, it's actually, it's the biggest segment of their fucking movies. Movies were failing. It's like, no, the movies are the biggest segment of their entertainment still. They're not doing as well as they used to, but still, they don't care. Let's see. Got a question for Andre. Is your inbox open for collabs? Upper Nimbus says. Would love to have you on the channel and work with you in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. Hit me up. Easiest way probably is we can email me, Andre at GameXplain.com, or DM me on Twitter, at Andre Segers or at GameXplain. Super open to collabs. I always love popping onto people's podcasts and chatting with, anyone who wants to have me. So it's always a blast. So
100%, Nimbus. And yeah, sometime we'll have to have when we have every once in about twice a year, I have the big open bar, Andre, where you just go into the Discord and anybody can hop in. And so that's a collab that's open to everybody who has bar membership. And Super Review, shoot me a friend request on Twitter. I'm at Happy Wanderer with 1P. I'll get you in the bar too, man. That way you guys can talk there over drinks. Let's see here. Galaxy 2 sold 2.7 million on the Wii. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, so it must have sold through from 2012 because the number was 4 million in 2012. So that's good. So it sold out. So it's not like it didn't sell out. Mr. Nice Guy, that was in Half Baked, right near the beach, boy. Was Mr. Nice Guy? Was Purple Mr. Nice Guy in fucking Half Baked? Damn, I need to watch that movie again. That's a blast from the past.
It's been a while for me too. Yeah,
that's a fantastic movie. No worries, man. I'll reach out to you, Keen, for the Bar Chatter Zoo as well. Oh yeah, no, the bar's a very chill place. So just remember the rule. That's all I always tell people, which is the rule is don't be an asshole. It's again, we have a very anarchist principles in that place, but just don't be an asshole. Don't piss the rest of the bar off. If you do, you're gone. Other than that, it's the chillest fucking place in the world. All right, well, that's all of our questions we have here. I always like to give the guest an opportunity to maybe ask me something if you have any questions you want to ask me. If not, we'll send you on your way. Give the last where they can find us, and we'll get you finished up here. But do you have any questions for me?
Yeah. Well, I know you recommended some horror earlier, and I wanted to know what horror movie you would recommend I check out next, based on anything you've seen recently, or any horror medium adjacent thing you think I should check out.
Ooh, so I'll give you a good one if I can remember the name of it. And actually, I'm trying to think of it. So have you seen Mad God on Shudder?
I have not.
Ooh, check out Mad God. Mad God is really good. Really fucking good. The other
one, I got it.
If you're looking to be very, very uncomfortable, I almost feel bad recommending this, actually.
Well, this is one hell of a setup.
Skinamarink.
Oh God, I've heard that one.
You'll either love it or you'll hate it, but there's certain things you have to do when you watch this movie. Don't have any.
Oh no! I did see it. This movie fucked me up. Like, this movie's, it's a one in the house, right? Like, nothing happens.
Basically,
that movie is crazy.
Yeah, and let me set this up for everybody, because that movie fucked me up too. It's a movie that genuinely gave me dread. And
it absolutely does.
Two kids wake up in the house looking for their parents. Their parents aren't in the house, and then the doors and the windows disappear.
Yeah,
trapping them within the house. It goes from there.
There's another movie that looked a little similar. I'm not that similar, but it reminded me of it, and I forget what it was called. I don't think it was horror though. It's probably nothing like it. I don't even know why I'm mentioning it, but especially because I can't remember the name right now. So if it comes to me though, I'll let you know in the future in case if it's of interest. But
And
the idea of like being trapped in this setting is what reminded me of it. So
yeah, and give me 1 second. I'm going to look up my horror movie list here because there's another one I wanted to give you here. Let's see. Have you seen Threads?
no.
Okay, Threads is wild. Threads is a movie about nuclear war, so that might be one that hits particularly close to home these days. But it's a
Yeah,
British movie. It
too
is
scary.
absolutely unflinching.
Okay.
So there's a good
Good
one.
to
That's
know.
an older one. And then there's another one, but I can't think of the name of it right now. And it's like a Little Red Riding Hood type deal. I'll try to find it. If I do, I'll shoot it to you. It's an Argentinian movie, and there's a wolf outside, and a lady is basically hiding in the house from this wolf. And the wolf wants in, but she's trying to protect her kids in the house. The whole movie is basically an allegory to fascism, but there's a whole bunch of disturbing shit that goes on. And it's basically a movie about how desperate these survivors get trapped in this cabin with no food and the things that start to happen as this occurs. It's kind of a dark fairy tale. I'll have to think of the name of it. Really good though.
All right. Well, those are some good suggestions. I'll have to check them out.
Yeah, I'll DM them to you when I find the name of that other one. Paul Gill Network's in the house, and Paul Gill, we got to get you back on the show. I am so eager to pick your brain on all these recent events, man. What's going on? He says, "Hey, Flipping the Switch and GameXplain." And Upper Nimbus says, "Welcome, Paul. Good to see you." And then he says, "Hi to Upper Nimbus." So, all righty. Any other questions for me?
No, I think you gave me enough to chew on with that one. I'm gonna have to look up all those.
Sounds good. Well, I got one last question for you before we kind of shill our shit one last time. So Andre, did you have fun?
Absolutely, this was a total blast. Thanks for having me.
Anytime.
It's always fun chatting, especially like it's fun just chatting about like wherever the hell it takes us, right? And it was nice not being tied to any singular topic, which is what my channel focuses on. Ironically, it's usually this happened. Let's talk about it, right? So yeah, it's fun just to shoot the shit with you. So
Well,
yeah, thanks for having me.
It's always a good change of pace. And again, like I don't want to keep you too overly long because I know we talked a little bit about because some of these have gone. You've seen some of the timestamps. Fuck.
Yeah.
So other than that, we'll finish up these comments and we'll chill and then we'll be good to go. So great episode, guys. It was fun. Just finished uploading some shorts for tomorrow. Oh, dude, have you seen Paul Gale Network shorts, Andre?
Every day is
they're
something
so
new every
good.
day. Yeah, they're great. Yeah,
they're so fucking good. Got to say,
impressive.
one of them is a guaranteed laugh inducer. Paul, just keep it up, man. The gaming history tweets, the days countdowns. You're doing mighty good work on the Twitter, man. They're so good. Yeah, keen to see it, Paul. Glad to catch some of the stream. Oh hell yeah, man! We're gonna have to get you back on. We gotta have that Cobra Kai discussion, man. Oh my god, I gotta talk to you about Cobra Kai. It's oh man. So, alrighty, well, I guess I'll let the guests go last. So, I'm Zoo with Flipping the Switch. This is on the main channel, but I've also got a side project where I'm actually doing reviews again, and for the Nintendo Switch and Switch 2, and that's called @Zoo After Dark. So it's YouTube/Zoo After Dark. It's where you can find that new project. I'm trying to do one a week. That's going to die very ignoble death once I get to JRPGs and RPGs and shit. But for now, one a week, I think is doable for now while I go through the Mario arc. And then, of course, you can find me on Twitter @HappyWanderer with 1P. And he says, I'll sub up, Zoo. I didn't even know. That's because I do a fucking terrible job of shilling. Paul Gill Network says, hit that like button before you all leave. Always appreciate it. Yeah, the like button and the whatever else shit YouTube wants you to hit. Anyway, Andre, tell him where you can find you.
Yeah, you can just find me over at GameXplain on YouTube or TikTok and some social medias. And yeah, if you like Nintendo stuff in particular, but sometimes other non-Nintendo things, check us out. So yeah.
All righty. Well, thanks so much for coming out, guys. Again, been Been a hell of a fun time. If you want to stay on for just a brief denouement here at the end. Other than that, we're going to cut the chat loose. Love you guys all. See you later. Have a good night. Get the fuck out of here and have a wonderful evening.
Bye.